Okay, calling the meeting to order. Okay, can we please just get this open here? Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Casarelli.
Here.
Rotovasco.
Here.
Muldrow.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Wells.
Here.
Mayor Velez.
Here. Okay,
And Councilman Graziano, I'm sorry.
okay, Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, sunshine notice.
Pursuant to the requirements of Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, known as the Sunshine Law. Notice of this meeting was published on January 9th, 2026, Star Ledger. An annual meeting notice resolution was adopted, forwarded to the press, posted, and filed with the municipal clerk, establishing the date, time, and place of all meetings. A copy of the annual meeting notice has been posted on the township website and town hall bulletin board.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we are now going to enter the proclamation section of our meeting. For everybody, this is where council people can add proclamations and presentations to spotlight really great individuals and teams and organizations in Belleville. And we have here a proclamation from our third ward councilman, Vincent Casarelli, recognizing the Brunch Box and their youth baseball team. So I would like to give the floor to Councilman Casarelli.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate the warm welcome. We have, looks like, almost the whole entire league here tonight. This is a big crowd. But we have, looks like the entire team of the Brunch Box here. They're showing, showing out their Belleville pride and keep winning championships. So I think it's very appropriate that we honor them this evening. So I'm going to read this proclamation, and now I'm going to invite them all to come on up. So whereas the mayor and city council proudly recognize the outstanding accomplishments of the Brunch Box youth baseball team, that's a word twister, which captured the World Series championship for the third time in the past 4 years. This championship, yeah. Yeah, that's some good coaching over there, Joe. This championship marks the team's first season with its new sponsor, Brunch Box, whose support helped contribute to another successful year. The team entered the season with 6 new players, representing a diverse group of talented athletes ages 7 through 12 who demonstrated remarkable growth, teamwork, and perseverance throughout the season. The team completed their regular season undefeated and showed exceptional resilience during postseason play by battling through the losers brackets and after a semifinal loss, ultimately winning 2 of the final 3 championship games, including 2 thrilling one-run victories. The players showed tremendous improvement from the beginning of the season through the championship, with younger team members making key offensive contributions and outstanding defensive plays, including an unassisted double play, exemplifying their dedication, hard work, and sportsmanship. The coaches, parents, families, volunteers, and sponsors provided unwavering support that helped foster the team's success and positive development both on and off the field. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Mayor Velez and the Municipal Council of Belleville, New Jersey, do hereby congratulate the Brunch Box youth baseball team on winning the 2026 World Series championship. We commend the players, coaches, families, and sponsors for their exceptional achievement and extend our best wishes for continued success in the future. So I'm going to invite everyone to come up here. We'll take some pictures with the mayor, and I'm going to make your coach feel a little bit old right now. Joe Gardabasco was my Little League coach for Garden Meat Market back in 1992, I think it was. And that was his first year. What year was it? Well, right? About 90, yeah. Yeah, so I want to give him a big round of applause, too. All right, guys, come get your proclamations over here. They're blind. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Where are you going? Where are you walking away for? Get a picture. You guys say.
No, it's not gonna be a day off from school for you.
It's like my name is not Tum Second. No, it's like my name is not Tum Second.
All right, now everyone, we're gonna squeeze in for a picture, all right? So you gotta squeeze in a little bit. So the tall guys in the back.
Oh, don't worry,
I'll be in the front.
Coaches.
No, you come back.
Name's only 11.
Watch your back, JJ. Let's go, JJ.
Come on real quick.
Yeah, him right in the middle. Oh, yeah. Come on, Joey.
Joe, sit down, Joe. Joe, you got to cheer for you. Joe, you got to cheer for you. Stand right here by me.
All right, you guys ready? We're gonna say brunch box on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Brunch box.
How many months?
Hello. I want to thank the mayor and council for recognizing these players for their accomplishments. I also like to thank my 2 sponsors from Brunchbox for the last 2 years. They did a great job taking care of the kids, supporting the team. I want to thank my parents who are out there every game cheering us on. Okay, and I want to thank the rec department before they get working with us all year. I don't see Bobby here, but I want to thank Bobby and the grounds crew for doing a great job in the field all year. Thank you very much.
Let's go, boys.
Have one of these? You take mine. Not gonna do anything.
Walk out, walk out. My boy.
Thank you very much.
Of course, better.
Jordan,
One more thing,
Jordan,
Councilman Graziano, you're still on the short list. You're the only one that ever beat me.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Joe. And also a little shout out to our rec department head who's here in the back of the room. Lenny, good job getting that league under control. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again, Councilman Cosarelli, for the presentation and proclamation. So, yeah, if you may. Okay. Again, thank you, Councilman Cosarelli, for that presentation. We are now going to head into the work session slash council discussion section of our meeting. This is when members of the council, members of the administration, and really anyone can place an item for discussion before the council. We have various presentations here, and we are going to kick it off with a presentation by our township manager, Brian Banta, on recent complaints. So, manager, if you may begin.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So I'm glad the police department's here, in more numbers than usual, because this one right here is something that's directly for them, and I hope maybe they could have some answers for me on if we can actually do anything at all. I know some of our council had questions on these topics, as well as I've gotten continued complaints and comments from residents that are also concerned slash bothered by the noise that not just the loud mufflers create, but also the big trucks going through neighborhoods. The loud mufflers are the, I guess, the altered mufflers on cars that create extra loud noise, and as they go through neighborhoods, they disturb the peace. And the same thing with the big trucks. The big trucks, and I'm not just talking on our main avenues, I'm talking more along our residential streets. The oversized trucks, I don't know what else to call them, tractor trailers, that either hit trees or go over bumps in the road and cause big bangs and loud noises too, and just it causes discomfort in the neighborhoods. I was wondering if there's any way that maybe we could limit the streets that those big trucks go on, and what kind of impact that'll have on our local, I don't know, the way things flow throughout the neighborhoods, and also if there's anything we could do about loud mufflers in terms of if we have an ordinance for either noise or them themselves, and if there's any way to actually enforce that or the latter or the big trucks. It might be too difficult to enforce.
Well, with large trucks.
Let me give you. I'll get it for you.
Okay, with the large trucks, there is already an ordinance that we have trucks over 4 tons that are prohibited from certain areas of town. So we already do have a list. We can add more, or we could take away some, because as time has gone on and Belleville has changed with some of the new development that has gone on, some of the streets that are prohibited with trucks over 4 tons don't make any sense, because there's several businesses there that have deliveries from tractor trailers or even the construction going on. Like, for example, I know right now we got some complaints from certain residents on some of these side streets off of Washington Avenue because of these large trucks that are coming into the neighborhood. But that's because the state's working on Washington Avenue, and they're going to be here for at least another year and a half. I'm sure you could see when you drive down Washington Avenue, especially on the south side, state has already done the curbs, and they're getting ready to do more bump outs, and they're moving along with their project. So some of the complaints we got is going to be temporary because that construction is moving along. But that's something that we can sit down, even with Tom Herritz, the town engineer, to figure out what streets we can make 4 tons excluded, and some that we might have to think about taking away just because it's not feasible or enforceable. In regards to the loud mufflers, there already is a state statute for the loud mufflers. It's 39.3-70. Again, the police department can issue summonses for that, but that's all we can do. We can't impound vehicles. We can't remove the equipment. The only thing we can do is issue summonses, and if that owner of that vehicle pays the court fines, he pays the court fines. So we already have been out We try to tackle these complaints from our residents. The Traffic Bureau did conduct 7 details over the past week and a half to combat these loud mufflers, but they didn't find any. And we try our best to respond to residents' complaints when it comes to, to speeding and other complaints of vehicular traffic in town. So that's something we definitely will keep an eye on, again, with these loud mufflers. I know there have been a few summonses issued this past month for that. But again, as far as the police department goes, all we can do is issue summonses.
So if it's a constant problem in a certain neighborhood, the resident would have to kind of contact you and say, listen, it keeps happening. Would you mind doing a check or a follow-up or blah, blah, blah?
No, like
That's
I said, we
basically it.
have a few locations that we got complaints on that, again, when we do have the time to go out, we will keep an eye. Like, again, I have Malone Avenue and other areas of town, like Little Street, where we get these complaints. And we will, it's not something that it's like, okay, we did it a few times, we're going to not do it anymore. No, we're going to continue to go out there because we do hear the loud mufflers as well. You know, it's just that it's sometimes with other things going on, like, for example, the storm today. Today, we kind of had to move our manpower to getting ready for that, getting ready to place barricades out, getting our high water or swift water rescue vehicle available. So when we do have the manpower and we do have the time to do it, we will be out there doing it.
Right.
I do have a question, if I may, Mayor.
Yes, Councilman.
For, I don't know, north, south, east, west traffic for ShopRite, Walgreens, Dunkin' Donuts, big trucks. I see them a lot going, you know, because it's normal. They go from Nutley to Belleville, across Belleville. Are they supposed to go on specific roads, or can they cut, like, up Chestnut? Can they go down Division? Because I see that at times, and I'm just saying it's around a school, it's around there.
Yeah,
So,
again, like I said, we would have to look at the list to see if Chestnut is one of those streets that's on there for trucks prohibited
Division.
4 tons, prohibited on their street. But again, with, you know, some of the location of the business that we have in town, they might need to go down Greylock Parkway. They might need to go down Chestnut or Division. That's why I say we need to maybe relook at this list and add or delete. So.
no, thank you. I ran that by Brian because, like you said, the trees, and that's, the trees are on us. You know what I mean? So it all falls on us. I just asked the question.
No, if that's the case too, we could, because the sweepers take out some of those tree branches too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Graziano. Are there any other questions from the council? Okay, Manager, anything else you'd like to add?
That's it. Thank you, Captain.
Okay.
And we'll try to look at those, the list of streets, and maybe we'll update.
They're on the town website, and like I said, we could always add or delete.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to now call up Deputy Chief Corbo and Matt Kaloon for their OEM presentations. Again, this is in their roles on the OEM team to give a layout of the structure, review, and discuss the 25 feet stop signs. So, gentlemen, if you may.
Well, I think the 25-foot stop signs, I think we'll, if we can, talk more when it comes to traffic and then with the
Perfect.
parking enforcement.
Perfect.
What we're doing here, Captain McAloon is passing out a pamphlet that he put together. The reason we're here tonight is there's been some confusion, I guess, in recent months as to when OEM gets activated or what an OEM event is. So what we're going to try to do is just try to explain what OEM does and how we work together with all the different entities in the town. Just, I said this a while back in a phone call, just to make it kind of simple. Like today, obviously, we're anticipating, or the reports are that we could have a severe amount of rain. So the amount of rain today, having everybody put in place, can trigger this to become an event where OEM gets activated, depending on what we get. But in a normal situation, just because it's raining doesn't make it OEM. Just because it's snowing doesn't make it OEM. The rec department runs a movie night or a concert doesn't necessarily make it OEM. The fireworks, which was in the pamphlet that you got that Captain Macklin will speak about, because that was such a large-scale event, that makes it more or less an OEM event. But basically, Captain will explain a little bit better, but what everybody has to understand, OEM basically just coordinates all the resources from all the entities within the town. Like, just to go back a couple of months, we had the fire scene. It ended up being OEM, but ultimately, Chief Olivieri in the fire department, that was a fire scene. It obviously affected residents. It was large scale, became so OEM got activated. And then once we got organized, everything was under OEM. But ultimately, it was a fire scene. Fire department handled it. They did a tremendous job, of course. But that's just an example. This other fireworks will be an example. We don't necessarily take over an event. we just coordinate the efforts of everybody working together to make sure that the event is being run properly and for the protection of everybody. So, John, if you want to go over the pamphlet that you gave out to everybody, and hopefully this will explain it a little bit more to all of you.
So first, I want to thank the mayor, the manager, and the council for showing an interest in OEM. It's an integral part of the township. It's designed for the safety of the public, strictly that. When we're operating under OEM, we're removed from our prospective agency. So I'm not at OEM as a police captain. I'm there as an OEM deputy coordinator. OEM responds to all different types of emergencies. We plan, coordinate, and respond. So if you take, it could be any incident, it could be a man-made incident, it could be a natural disaster, it could be a pre-planned event, it could be a water main break, a chemical spill. Anytime the local resources get overwhelmed, OEM steps in to coordinate, and that's kind of what we do. We have a big part in pre-planned events because anytime you have a mass gathering of people, you have a potential for something bad to happen, something nefarious to happen. So pre-planned events with a large group of people, take for example the fireworks. We were expecting over 1,000 people. We had high-profile dignitaries from the state, county, federal government responding. So OEM stepped in as a level 2 activation. If you look in those pamphlets, level 1 is where we normally operate on a day-to-day basis. So we're an intelligence gathering in our normal every day. We gather intelligence from the state, the county, and our federal partners. So it's one point of contact from those agencies to us. We take that information and we pass it up to the department head. So if, for example, the rec is having a small event, we might gather the weather reports, we might gather any particular violence reports going on, pass it to that department head and say, hey, here's the information, do what you need of it. So we're not necessarily involved, but we're monitoring and standby. You take the fireworks, it's a large event, 1,000+ people, high profile dignitaries. We go into a level 2 activation where we're physically present at the scene. So speaking of the fireworks, the preparation started a month before. We knew well in advance we were expecting a mass gathering. We knew a month in advance that we were going to get some high profile dignitaries. So we go out and we do what's called a risk assessment or a vulnerability assessment. We look at the venue, we see where different areas are that could be potential problems, whether it be traffic problems, anticipation of violence problems, and we come up with a plan. During that process, we coordinate with our partner agencies. So fire, Board of Ed, rec department, health department, everybody's all looped in on the same page. We come up with an incident action plan. We sent it to the fire command staff. They have the opportunity to review it. Hey, this is what we're expecting. You tell us how many EMTs you need or how many fire trucks you need or where the fallout zone is going to be for the fireworks. They agree. We go back and forth. Sometimes we disagree. We don't agree. We make it work. At the end of the day, we come up with one incident action plan. Of the fireworks, leading up to that, we had a severe weather outbreak here in our area. We had heat indexes over 100. So at the last minute, we got permission from the Board of Ed because we're also partners with them. They allowed us to use the gymnasium as a cooling center and a shelter-in-place center. So like I said in the beginning, when we plan our events, we always plan for violence. We always plan for weather. And when something bad goes, when something happens, we initiate that incident action plan. So we did all that. The day of the event, we did a walkthrough again with the rec department, fire, DPW. We all agreed. We had a briefing. Everybody knew the plan. The weather report for that day at 6:30 a.m. was chance of isolated showers. That's not enough to cancel event. The governor didn't declare a state of emergency. The people in Belleville want a good show. So we were okay with allowing that to go on. We did our briefing. Somewhere close to the night, we got what's called a heads-up notification. It's an immediate weather alert that said, hey, there's a storm cell approaching. Take shelter. We initiated the action plan. We removed the people from the field, ushered them into the gymnasium. Of course, as Murphy's Law goes, the power went out in the gymnasium. Not a problem. We had a plan for that. We collapsed our outside perimeter posts to provide security inside the gym. The weather was brutal, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. It lasted 30 to 45 minutes. I was there with the mayor, the rec department. The storm passed. We allowed everybody that wanted to leave to leave. And then we consulted with each other, and the decision was made to cancel the fireworks. What a lot of people don't know is the decision was made between the entities. It wasn't OEM saying, hey, you're canceling. It wasn't the mayor saying, hey, you're canceling. It was a group decision based on factors where we had a 30 to 45-minute window before the next storm was going to hit. If we had chose to go on with it and that storm did come, now we're back to where we were 20 minutes ago. So we did that. We spoke to the fire contractor. He basically said, hey, I put these things out. I wired them together. They're wet. It's not safe for me to put them back in a truck and take them with us. So we reestablished our security plan, closed the roads again. He lit off whatever went off, and that was that. So that's kind of an example how OEM started as a level 2 activation, and it bumped up. At no time did we tell fire what to do. When I'm there, I don't tell the police what to do. There's a police liaison there. So the key point is OEM is kind of like the umbrella. We bring everybody to the table. Everybody has a say, and then we work it out together what the best course of action would be. Just in a quick example, the fire was a full-scale activation, a level 3 activation. We had a local state of emergency declared. And again, we set up a command post. We had all the department heads present every day for the briefing. We sent out situational reports up to the county, up to the state. The county and the state OEM were both at the command post for several days. So basically, what I'm trying to explain is it's a cooperative effort. OEM cannot do it alone, and we don't overstep our bounds. So we don't tell the police, hey, do this. We don't tell fire, do this. I don't go to a water main break and tell Bobby Welter how to fix his water main break. We simply ask what you need. At the fire needed a truck to refuel their engines. We went online to the county, submitted an EMIT request. We got a fuel truck delivered there within an hour. Worked out great. Lasted 24 hours. The next day, they had to leave. Okay, what are we going to do? We turned to our partners in DPW who were standing next to us in the command center. We said, Bob, we need a truck. He made a couple phone calls. Next thing you know, there's a truck there we had for the rest of the week. So OEM is separate from our entities, but it's an effort that brings everybody to the table. And just for the mayor's sake, the mayor and the manager have a big part in OEM. You know, there's a deputy coordinator up there, and then to the left of him is the mayor, to the right of him is the manager. And that information has got to flow both directions. You guys are entitled to the same information we are because you make the final decisions at the end of the day with Deputy Chief Corbo, who is the OEM coordinator. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, or I just kind of wanted to get the point across that we're a shared entity. Like, use us. You know, we're here for your resource. If you need something, the council and the mayor and the manager are entitled to the same info we are. We have an emergency operations plan that we can't release public, but you're entitled to it because you're a public official. It's about this big. It's 15 annexes. Some stuff is confidential, but not for you guys. So I'm happy that you have an interest in it. I'd prefer you to look at it, read it. And then every 2 years we get the opportunity to make changes. So if you're not happy with something, we'll change it. You know, it's that simple. Any questions?
I do, through the mayor. When news has to go out, that comes from you all, right? It doesn't get like, in the last one, it was coming from different angles. So,
Yes.
so I don't know how the council feels about it, but the single source of truth as I look at it. If you're gathering it, it's you. My personal opinion should come from you. But I don't know how the council feels about it or how it's done.
So
in
the
profession.
way OEM is set up, the coordinator can appoint a PIO. Like, I'm the PIO for the police department, but I don't release anything for OEM.
Gotcha.
The coordinator can appoint a public information officer, or he can
We did at the
defer,
fire scene.
Gotcha.
or he can defer to the mayor for,
Okay.
his approval to do
Gotcha.
that. Yeah.
No, thank you for that.
Which will be moving forward. We recently had a meeting which we discussed that, and that's how we will proceed moving forward if we have an OEM event.
And how is that, Chief?
As Captain McAloon said, the mayor is involved in OEM.
Gotcha.
If we move forward, it's an OEM event. Like I said, Captain McAloon's the public information officer of the police department, but in an OEM setting, we'll have everything go out through the mayor.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So just to recap, so we had a meeting earlier today where we spoke about OEM, the structure, and just getting more specifics and kind of speaking over everything between the manager, myself, and our amazing OEM team here. And we spoke about, as you were saying before, we want to make sure that going forward, there's only one channel of communication when it comes to official OEM communications. And speaking with our team here, we've decided going forward that the team itself is going to all consult within itself, and then only one person will distribute and disseminate that information when it comes to OEM matters. While I will not look to become a deputy coordinator, I will, as the mayor, just forward all the information after consultation with them and speaking with them.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other comments or questions from the council? Yes, Chief. If you could approach the microphone just so everybody could hear at home.
I just wanted to say what John was, Michael was saying, the public information officer, he's the representative for the police, so all the departments probably have someone. So the OEM usually gets them all together, and then I'm not sure, John, who, at the end, who's going to make the statement. Like you say, you want to come from one person, but we probably for a large scale incident should have some kind of. I mean, they always do. The OEM gets each public information officer together. So if it's a police incident, they probably have a spokesperson. Fire, probably the same thing, and so on. But
Well, that's what we were just talking about. When we discussed at the meeting. It's going to be the
Yeah,
mayor.
I think for a large scale full activation, from an OEM standpoint, it should be the mayor. I mean, that's my opinion. You guys can decide however you see fit.
Yeah, I agree with. I think, Chief, if I'm
Committee's a good
correct,
idea.
I think you're right. I think the point you're making is everyone should be involved. The police, the fire, everybody in OEM together, and we should all consult together before anything goes out. Correct. Right. Correct. Right. Right. Correct. Yes. It would.
As Captain Macklin said before, if we do have a full-scale event, OEM activation, we'll have a command center, and the goal is to have a representative from every entity in the town together at the command station the whole time, and then we will have those meetings. We've had numerous, at the fire scene, we had probably a meeting or two each day just to get everybody together to get stuff out. So that's all part of the procedure that we'll follow.
Perfect.
Yeah, so basically the entire team comes up with the message, and that message
Correct.
is sent out through the mayor and our social media channels and our
Right.
communication channels.
Chief Oliver is saying, obviously, if it's a fire scene, then the fire department
Takes the lead.
have to lead and provide the most information. If it turns out to be a police scene, then it'll be the police department.
Correct.
But just on that, just another thing, I know we spoke about it earlier, just to clarify, and I know Captain McAloon hit on it. When OEM is activated, yes, we both work for the police department, but at that point, we're working for OEM. Like, just to go back to the fire scene, we had, I mean, obviously the fire department had what they had, DPW, we had health department, code enforcement, engineering, we had everybody there. We had the police department there. When it came to the police personnel that were at that fire scene, Captain McAloon and I, we didn't direct them. We had police supervisors that were handling that. So when it's an OEM scene, we're not there as police officers. Even, obviously we are, but we're there in the OEM capacity. And it's just what he said. It's not going to be that we're going to sit there and make final decisions without consulting with everybody. That's not how OEM works. That's why we need everybody at the command center, consult with everybody, have our meetings, and we'll come together as a group and make decisions best for that incident, whatever it is.
Perfect.
There was a little
I
confusion
do
with
have
that
one.
as well.
I do have one more
Yes,
question.
Councilman.
Is there any way, and I don't know, that we, for both services, that we have one from each, like police and fire together? Or something like that, or like, because I know there was an assistant or something. I don't know the depth and breadth. I think it was the last piece of it. Is that as shared? Because there are two services up there, right?
Well, every department's part of it, not just police
Oh,
and
it is,
fire.
okay,
Whole code enforcement's part of it. The health department was part of the incident.
okay. But as a PIO, that would be then sent over to fire, and they would be the PIO to the mayor.
Yeah, if it's a large scale event and OEM is involved, then we'll meet with if it's a fire, we'll meet with the fire PIO.
Right.
And the fire PIO will get the information to the mayor. If it's just a structure fire or a police incident,
Right.
then the police PIO will contact the mayor and say, hey, this is what we want to send, do you approve?
Got you. And Chief, you do have a PIO representative?
We do want my deputies, but like you're saying, for large scales like that, every department has something to contribute.
Gotcha.
Every representative should be at the command center, and we'll have those meetings together with everybody. And then anybody that has their information to add, that'll be put together, decided upon, and then forwarded to be put out.
Gotcha.
Okay. Any other questions from the council? Manager?
All good?
Any questions? Okay.
Again, Mayor, we're here if you need to email, call, we answer cell phones, text messages, to the point where we're annoying. I get it. But I'm encouraged that you have an interest and the
Yes.
council has an interest, so it benefits us. So feel free to contact either one of us at any time.
Thank you, Deputy. Thank you, Captain. We appreciate you for coming and for all your work. Very good report. Okay, we are now going to hear a presentation on code enforcement from Mr. Nick DeAngelis for illegal apartment epidemic discussion.
Parking. Okay, I'll put that down there. I'm gonna move these up to here, and these are all. These all go with this. I'm gonna move them back, council benefits.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. For the new council members who don't know me, I'm Nick DeAngelis. I'm the Director of Community Development. I'm coming to here tonight to ask, actually, Mayor and Council to help me, maybe with a subcommittee, or to get more of our departments involved in what I consider an epidemic. It's illegal apartments. They're throughout the town. My office alone cannot handle or cannot accomplish getting to them all. In the past, this folder that I have in my hand that I brought here, this is a 4-month folder of all the reports to us. Some are bogus reports, some are true. Most we can't even get to verify. We get a lot of assistance from the fire department. Fire prevention catches them. The police department, when they go out on a domestic call, they'll note to us. But it's very hard for us to prove it and get them into our court system to try and rectify it. I mean, it's really to the point of ridiculous. In the last couple months, we have had people living in sheds, garages, renting out single-family houses, rooms. The whole house, every room was rented out. That's why I call it an epidemic. You know, the safety issue of it to the town is attic and basement apartments. They ever catch fire, someone may not survive. The other aspect of that is for safety, usually the work that was done to create those apartments were done without permits, not legally, and that's a cause for a fire. And recently, besides the big fire we just had, we've had numerous house fires in town. It creates overcrowding. It puts a strain on our infrastructure in the sense that our police department and fire department are getting more and more calls where a single family house now is turned into a 2 or 3 family house. What does that mean? More domestics, more break-ins, more anything that they come out to. It also causes a parking issue. When I was young, there was maybe 1.5 cars per family. Now everybody has 1, 2, and 3 cars. So if you have a single family house that has 2 parents and a child, the 2 parents usually have a car, they work. Now they rent their basement out to 2 more people, that's 4 cars. Our streets are narrow, some of them, they can't handle it. I mean, it's, you know, taking away from the aesthetics of the town. It's just something that I consider a big problem. And I like I said, I'm here tonight to ask if we could get some kind of subcommittee or something together to try and figure out how we could rectify it. I think it's going to be more of a problem in the future.
Just to add on to what Nick says, I mean, we have had fires in the past where a small two-family house with 4 bedrooms had 30-something people living in it, and the fire started in the attic where somebody was living illegally. I mean, there's more than just, we know that there's a housing problem, we know housing is expensive, and we know it's hard for families to afford, but the other end, we have to make sure that we're not only being safe, but we're not pressing the town's resources all the way to its ends, and pressing the neighborhoods all the way to their ends. I mean, we can design our neighborhoods perfectly, it's in parking space per bedroom, but when they're putting a full family of 4 in a single bedroom, in a basement, in an attic, in a shed. Yeah. We found one house where there was several structures built in the backyard where people were living in individual little units based on these shed structures. We're asking the council to basically take a look at this with us and try to help us come up with the resources and use every resource possible we can to help deal with the problem in a reasonable manner. Otherwise, Nick basically commented on everything, so I would like to just take some input from the council on this.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees up here that, this has become a problem in Belleville and many municipalities throughout New Jersey. It's not only a quality of life issue and not only a parking issue, but there's also a lot of exploitation that comes with these kind of situations because, many times, again, there's no contracts, nothing like that. So people are exploited. People are brought in under many of the time, false pretenses. And many people, from what I gather, don't even realize at a time that it's an illegal
That is also
apartment.
correct.
So it's not only about protecting, the quality of life in the streets and the parking situation. It's also the people themselves who are sometimes entering these situations unbeknownst to themselves. So I think we all agree on that. If there are any comments from other council members?
Yeah, may I?
Yes, Councilwoman.
What resources would you need
Well,
for this?
obviously the first is more manpower, but we would we would like to figure out how we could work even more closely with the police department and fire department.
Sometimes it's easier for them to get into the homes than it is for us in code enforcement. We also can have several stopgaps where basically people have to verify. Like we have something in a town ordinance that basically almost every unit, when it changes occupancy, whether it be changes ownership and a new owner moves in, or a rental changes, we have an ordinance where they have to do a rental certification. Most units in town do not do that. We could chase, again, we don't have the resources to chase everybody down, knock on every door, and when we do knock on every door, they don't let us in. And unless we have a life safety issue hazard, we can't get in. Domestic violence, a fire. Code enforcement doesn't have that same ability to just knock the door in and get into the building. So we kind of need those smoking guns to help us get into the building, whether it be through registration for different programs in town. Parking is another one that we have on for tonight that we think is another way to help not just deal with the parking problems in the neighborhood, but also help code enforcement make it a part of the requirements that we have a rental inspection done, a fire inspection done prior to giving out any type of parking permits. You can't park on our streets if you haven't been inspected. And if you're trying to avoid being inspected, why? The point of the inspection is just basically safety and making sure there's no overcrowding going on. You're not living in unsafe quarters, that kind of stuff. One of the ones, we had somebody living in a crawl space in a basement. You had to crawl through a space to get to the room. So if there's a fire, it's basically you're just in an oven. So, but also obviously to work with us through those kind of brainstorming ideas and help us say, okay, well, maybe this is a good ordinance, maybe this is a good policy, some things along those lines, or maybe we do need to allocate more of our resources towards personnel or other things to help us get this done.
Mr. DeAngelis?
Yes.
Right, thank you. So I heard you mention earlier some sort of subcommittee.
Correct.
And I just kind of wanted to explore that a little.
Sure.
Would that require some type of training?
No, I don't believe. Just a subcommittee. We have 7. You have 7 of you up here. I'm sure that you have a lot of ideas and a lot of things that you hear from your constituents, from yourself, that maybe could help with me. You work. I'm assuming you all work with other towns and other. I know the mayor's met with other dignitaries. I'm sure that we could all sit together and brainstorm and try and come up with ordinances to rectify it.
Okay, so like a work session, basically. Okay.
Correct.
I love that. Thank you.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So, Mr. Anderson, just the folder you have in your hand,
Mhm.
4 months, where is it being, are they being worked on or are they being blocked or stopped right now?
So some of them in here, we haven't even got a chance to investigate yet.
The majority, where do they get stopped where we can't?
I'm going to, our most recent investigation of a couple of them, we actually confronted 2 homeowners. They refused to let us into the house. There's nothing more we can do than that. We have most of what comes in here, a lot that's been successful is actually from the fire and police department, because we're utilizing their body cameras now and the police officers themselves for testimony if we get to that point in court. But the problem is we get a lot of citizen complaints, a lot of telephone call complaints. Some of them are bogus, that people just call and they don't like their neighbor and they want to cause problems. But we have to investigate every single one, and we can't issue a summons or do anything till we're 100% sure.
Gotcha.
So out of the 100% that's in here, I'm going to say, and this is embarrassing for me and my department, 75% or we can't confirm.
What a sin. And then, Brian, you mentioned something about rentals, that owners who are renting, they don't go through the process. If you look online, I mean, you can go on your phone, you see people in Belleville and realtors renting.
Correct.
Why can't we just start right now and hold them accountable?
Well,
I mean, you look at it, you look at the low-hanging fruit, and I think once you go after the low-hanging fruit, the other parts will follow.
one of the things we have, and when I'm talking about illegal apartments, I'm also incorporating short-term rentals, Airbnbs. We're all familiar with that. Well, the last several weeks, my office has got a rush of complaints. I'm assuming because of the World Cup.
Right.
But even when we go onto Airbnb website and we see Belleville, we never get an address. No one ever gives an address. So it's very hard to even pick up where the Airbnb is. We just recently had one of our new apartment buildings in town that we found out had an Airbnb. We contacted the owner of the building and they've been compliant with us, but it's like I said, it's an epidemic. It's so hard. There's only myself and 3 other code enforcement officers, and that's for myself too. I'm the town's building inspector. We just can't keep up with everything.
They place ads right on Facebook.
Right on
I bother Brian once a month. I've actually Googled their name, went to the website, our town website, got their address, the name. That's how I got their address, because they put the real name on there.
Correct.
And almost the directions to it.
Right.
So then, even giving him the name and the address,
Correct.
there's nothing we could do.
No, only to a point. So when we get that name and that address, we go and we check it out. Now, as you know, most of the time we work between 8 and 4. So the best time, I hate to use the word, to catch someone doing this is night. And we do go out at night and we try to ring a doorbell and catch them at night. But the biggest problem that we have as of late is everybody knows. Everybody has Ring doorbells. Everybody sees, and they see 2 guys walking up to their house, or we're knocking on a door that leads to a basement. They don't answer it. They don't let us in. The ones that do answer the door, we explain why we're there and everything, and the basic comes back, no, I'm not letting you in. That is a problem. That's why if we could brainstorm and figure out some strategies or other ways, I'm open to it.
Would it make sense to get some type of, some realtors or some people like that to be on the committee to give you ideas on how they go about it?
It might. We try to work. Several of the local realtors that we know here in town. We try to work with them in my office right now.
I think if we could piece together that council subcommittee, the council subcommittee then can invite
Right.
Yeah.
those local realtors in to come up with an idea to
To get some help from everybody.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Concerns?
So, do we want to do that?
Yes, I think we should be meeting. You can call it a subcommittee, committee, group, whatever we want to use.
We need to formally create that, or?
Okay.
So if you want, you can subcommittee, obviously no more than 3 council members would be able to serve on the subcommittee.
Great. Great. So we're gonna
Next
look at the
meeting
process,
now,
make sure
or
we get that,
Next meeting?
and we'll do it ad hoc.
Okay.
So we'll make it an ad hoc committee. Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we are now going to have a presentation from Second Ward Councilman Thomas Graziano on multiple items, permit parking, parking authority, and council benefits. Councilman.
Councilman, if you don't mind, could we separate some of those? Because the parking authority and the parking permits goes right into item E. So do you want to discuss those first? Let item E talk and then do your number 3 after item E?
Yes,
Okay.
fine.
Mayor?
Okay, Councilman, you have the floor.
Okay, just for item 3,
Okay.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Item, no, well, okay.
What,
Item
Brian?
3
Item
of
3 after
item
E.
D.
Huh?
Item 3 after E.
Yeah, so number 3, D3.
Okay.
So council benefits.
Okay,
You want me to do D3?
Yes.
That's what I
go
said.
for it.
Just making sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay, no, I just wanted to share with the council, because I know it had to do with benefits of the council. It's been conversations in the past. Just wanted to throw that out there now. We could discuss it more in detail in our private, but get your thoughts on insurance for council, because it's been out there for a long time. Something that has been discussed recently, and I want to just throw it out there to see how you feel. For, not for. I don't know if I'm walking on a line here at this point in time, but just wanted to bring this out in public to say, hey, get your thoughts, recommendations, opinion, and then maybe we can go from there if need be.
Attorney, if you could just repeat that onto the microphone. Hold on. Wait.
It all depends on, Councilman, all depends on where the discussion goes. It can definitely be a personnel issue that's probably more appropriate for closed, depending upon where the discussion goes.
Yeah, I mentioned it because, like I said, it's been conversation over the years. It's time with our budget, scenario, with our budget concerns and issues. I just wanted to bring it to the table and have an open discussion about it if we can go that way. If not, then we could do it in closed.
Great. So I think the best way to handle this is,
Yeah, no, and it was for no council.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we should speak generally in public. I personally think, as you were saying, as we're in this budget crunch, and I myself and others here did run on a commitment going forward of Ruby those benefits. I think that not only in the best interest of the public and the budget and transparency, accountability, I personally think, yes, going forward, we should put a halt on that and we should remove that like was done in the past. But in terms of the specifics, obviously, that should be hashed out in regards to any individuals in private. But generally speaking, yes, I agree with you. We should, going forward, remove those. And
because, I'm sorry,
yes.
because that also stops the stipends too.
Yes, the payout,
The payout
which
for the-
some have
for the
spoken
board,
about.
yes.
So yes, I agree with that as well. So if there are any other council members who have anything they'd like to add, Councilwoman?
I 100% agree with you, Mayor. I publicly said that I would not be taking the insurance, so I am on board. This was the conversation that we intended to have, so I am in favor of removing the benefits.
Okay. If would anybody else have anything to add? Okay. So we could speak about the specifics in private. I have spoken with the attorney about this, have been speaking with him since we took office. Again, this is not something that can just be thrown up and just voted on. We do need to put this on paper. We do need to consult with our own healthcare, the group insurance, that all falls together. So we do want to make sure that we do everything by the book and, roll out a timeline specifically because we also need to be conscious of the human resource aspect of that. So we are going to continue that conversation in private. But yes, I agree, Councilman Graziano. Going forward, we should pursue that avenue and we should remove those benefits going forward. if my personal opinion, when we look back, obviously this was something that was brought in, brought out, brought in, brought out. There's been a lot of instability with it. Um, you know, I think in the future, right, if we want to talk about what if the council looks to become quote unquote full time, if the council wants to change things to full time, we can have discussions on that. But currently, as it is classified as part time. So when we think about the crossing guards. They're considered technically part time, but they don't have those benefits. But I don't blame any individual specifically up here right now for that. I think this is a long standing problem, and I don't think we should blame any individuals. I think we need to look at this process just in its entirety, and I think we need to be respectful of our fiduciary responsibilities as well as the HR component. And that's a full answer because, we got to make sure we do it right. So if there are any other concerns, questions, comments from the council, anything from the administration? Okay, moving forward, we're going to hear from consultant Robert Basilice on town-wide parking permit proposal. So, sir, if you may approach the microphone so that everyone at home can hear you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Bob Basilice, Robert Basilice. I am the owner of the company Advanced Parking Planning System, APPS for short. That was supposed to be my life after public employment business. I started in 2022. I was getting ready to retire. Then I was asked to be a Hudson County Commissioner. I'm back in. But the whole point of what we do is I come into municipalities, we do an assessment of what your needs are. Everything we do is based on what the mayor, council, and residents tell me and my staff. We do a needs assessment based on having a bunch of meetings. I do things in groups of community meetings. It's how you choose for me to do that, or if you choose to use us, how you want me to do that. In hearing what's been going on with your illegal apartments and other different issues that I've listened to tonight, we do, in our database, we collect the information on people's homes. More often than not, you'll see basement. When I first started, we had a program that identified basement apartments, attic apartments. If it's a two-family house that had 3 apartments, we would notify our building department. They would then have the ability to go in and enforce that. Illegal apartments, if they come with people with cars, become a problem for your municipality, for any municipality. We cannot create more street, unfortunately. What we can do is be more creative. In the time I was at the Parking Authority, that's been 20 years, I'm a mathematician. I went to Rutgers. I'm a mathematics major. I'm a state qualified purchasing agent. And I'm evil to everybody else because I'm the Parking Authority director in North Bergen. You're on 24/7 when you do parking. When you come into these lives, that's what we do. My job is to assess what's happening in your town. I've had a little bit of a flavor of what's going on. You're about half the size of North Bergen, but when I started in North Bergen, my budget was $815,000. Last year, we hit $3.8 million. So, and I'm not saying that most people say, well, that's a money grab. It's not about money grab. You only ticket people that are parked illegally. What we did is we went from 5 parking lots and 87 parking spaces to 27 parking lots and over 550 parking spaces, and we rent out those spaces. I've been speaking to some of your administrators, police, and there are ways that we can change things in Belleville right now that would assist you. I will help you in creating certain commercial ordinances and identifying what a commercial vehicle is, so that way they can't be taking up spaces on your streets. I will come in and I will make sure that we just did an ordinance recently. And again, it's a very fluid business, parking, because you have to change with the times. I went to my mayor and I said, we really need to do something about buildings. We have a lot of buildings, and what happens is they come in, and I'm not sure how your Board of Adjustment or Planning Board addresses it, but they have to meet certain parking requirements. A lot of people move to buildings that are on a a transit corridor. They don't want to have a car. So what the building has is a bunch of excess parking spaces. And in our town, you weren't able to rent those parking spaces to anybody outside of the building. We just passed an ordinance that allows for within 3 blocks of that building to be able to rent 2 inside those buildings. That takes people off the streets and creates more parking on your streets. I'm noticing that you are, the captain spoke before about Washington being under construction. You have these bump outs, et cetera. We have our business district is Burger Line Avenue. Burger Line Avenue was originally parallel parking. We made it angle parking and we added 170 parking spaces. At night, we allow, after the stores close, we allow residents with permits to park overnight for free. They have to be out by 9 o'clock in the morning or they're gonna get a meter ticket, but at the same time, we allow them to park. It's all about, my motto is residents rule. So your residents are the first people that complain to you, like we were talking about Mr. DeAngelis, about turning your neighbors in. They will turn them in. The whole I wish there was an entity that I was able to go to back 20 years ago when I started parking, because you're going to be able to jump leaps and bounds with what we know. Technology is incredible. Now there's license plate recognition. I am going to suggest to the town council and the mayor that you also, after I leave, have a parking committee. This is ongoing. It's going to be fluid. It's going to change regularly. We just implemented something that the first time I think I'm getting praise is we put in motorcycle parking spaces. So people hate more than anything to come home and there's a Vespa now or a motorized bicycle in a parking space, saving that space for somebody who comes home. So now you're able to have motorcycle spaces in town, both sides for street sweeping, and when they come home, they can only park in those spaces. Those spaces are those little spaces in between driveways where you can't fit a car. And most of the time they make a box or something, you can't park there. Those are the spaces you're utilizing. So we're not taking any street parking off the street, just making motorcycle parking where now a motorcycle isn't saving a spot for someone and then being put on the sidewalk. My job is to work with all of you in coming up with a plan, a permit program and plan in which we create some new ordinances. We try and create more parking, identify private business partnerships with developers or businesses that do not have parking, are not using their lot for whatever reason. They're going to develop in 3 or 4 years from now. You can go into a private business partnership and use that lot for parking. The benefits of we have the license plate recognition system. When they sign up, we have all their information. So what happens is I have a report on that person. What I do, I'm not about giving tickets. Okay, the North Bergen Park Authority years ago probably needed to give out tickets. We're about helping our residents. So if you're doing construction and I see a car on a side street, Chestnut, I think is one of the streets you said, Chestnut, we can pick up the phone and call and say, hi, this is a courtesy call from the Parking Authority, the mayor's office. We don't want to tow your car. There's an emergency. We're going to be having construction, and we have them move the car. When it comes time for parades, etc., police department uses us. They call us in. I have a couple of officers go in, and they'll move all the cars with the police. We spoke a little bit about how you want the entity to do parking would work. That's up to you. I am an authority. There are utilities which fall under the town council, and they usually fall under most of the time under the police department. But however you do that is up to you. I'm an authority. They chose to keep me as the authority. So, Mayor, when you have a problem, he did it. Just to let you know. But at the same time, my debt doesn't go on your books. So if I just bought a piece of property and I give back every year some of my, but I'm not there to make money. I'm there to assist the tax base. And I'm also there to, if I could buy property, buy property. That's my goal. My contract says that I would come to meetings. I will have community meetings. I will work with you any which way I can. The residents will come up with the questions that I will pose in the form of a survey. We'll get the responses. We'll tabulate that. And then we'll give you recommendations. Understand, beyond that, I have nothing to do with it. In the past, people say, oh, I have nothing to do with it except getting you a parking plan. I'm not going to work for the parking utility or the township. I am just here to service your municipality with getting you a parking plan that works. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Councilwoman Rodriguez.
Okay, no, that's working. Thank you for that. So I have a few questions. So the surveys for the residents, would that be the first thing you do?
So what I've already started to do is I started to assess biggest problems of the bordering towns. So I want to make sure that they're not coming into your town, and in some places they are. The survey would be I would start compiling the data. We'd compile the data. We'd how I did in the past, and it was a little different this time. I normally come with index cards right now, and I would hand the index cards out to the people that are here right now, and there began this process. And they will write down for me what their parking problems on their block. I don't need their name. I don't need their address. I just need to know their block and what problems they're witnessing. We'll start to put that together. And then from those, then we'll have a meeting with the community about parking. And I guarantee you there'll be people here. And then they'll come, and then we'll give them the same cards, ask them, give me the questions. We'll put together a survey. I'll present it to all of you. If you have any other additions you want to put in there, and then we'll get it out to everybody.
Great.
And
Look,
then- hold on. Sorry.
sorry.
So you said residents that live within 3 blocks of a building that have spaces that are not being used. In North Bergen, you've done this, correct?
We just passed an ordinance recently.
How much are you going to charge the residents?
So what you're witnessing in some cases is that a project gets approved, the building then has parking spaces, and then the building will make them pay for the parking space. Now the trend has been where municipal boards, planning boards, board of adjustments are saying, no, that has to go with the apartment. You can't charge them an additional fee. So it's a part of your rent. This is what you're paying, because if not, they're going to get a permit. If you're going to sell permits, they're going to get a permit and park on the street, which defeats the purpose of them having a parking garage.
So let's just repeat that for the public, because I already know everything gets thrown out here and there's a spin game. So what you just said, just for everyone is clear, you are saying that you're not going toward making people who live in apartments to then thereby charge them for a parking permit. You're saying it should be included in their rent already.
So
Correct?
in North Bergen, you used
Yeah.
to get a project, and I can only go based on North Bergen. North Bergen, you get a project approved. That project's approved with parking spaces. Then some developers would charge you when they're renting the space. Renting the apartment would charge you for a space. That we saw that as a problem. So then the township said, we're going to change that. Now they have to rent the parking space. The parking space has to be a part of your rent.
Correct. So just so everyone is clear, the parking space, what he is saying is that it would be included with the rent. Because again, I know how things go around here. Someone's going to say that we are pushing to make you pay for both your rent and a parking space. That is not the case. I just want to make that clear.
Why I suggest a committee and why I come to these meetings is because I'll answer any question. One of the things you're trying not to do is people already pay taxes, and
Correct.
they don't want to pay additional. So the whole idea of a fee for a parking permit is to allow for a database in which your team or enforcement officers are able to enforce, so that way they're staying in your parkers are from Belleville and not from outside of Belleville. When I started, I had one zone in North Bergen. I did my area first, where I lived, because you have to live and breathe it before you, and I got there and there was already one zone. And I border Union City, New Jersey. And Union City had a residential parking program. We didn't. Those that didn't want to pay for residential parking, what did they do? Went to North Bergen. So I'm not about giving tickets. So what I did, we went through the process. We started, the first week I gave out warnings. The first night, 100 and some odd warnings were given out to Union City residents that were parking in North Bergen, warning them, letting them know this is coming. Didn't want to give them a ticket. They've been doing it for years. They're my neighbors. I lived right across the street from Union City. I don't want that to be the case. So it's educating, changing gradually, but also answering the questions. The big thing that I do is I'm the person that tries to answer the questions. Do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. Am I the smartest guy in the room? Probably not. But at the same time, I'm here to try and answer based on my 20 years of being beat up. And you do get beat up in parking. I'm here to try and answer those questions or assist you in answer those questions. There are always going to be the critics. I tell people all the time, you want to give me constructive criticism? I listen. When I have complaints, I will pick up the phone myself, and my staff know that at the parking authority, I call people myself, and we'll have a conversation about what they feel. People that continually call it's about the principle. So what I try to address is that principle, and what do we have to get us closer to be on common ground. The parking program, the parking system benefits. I can't guarantee you that everybody's gonna have a parking space, even if you buy a permit. Again, when I grew up, my dad had a house. My dad had a car. My grandmother lived there. My mother lived there. Me and my sister. Now that same house, 4 people live there. 4 people have a car. So you could tie your system into your tax office, and you could see if it's a 2-family house, it should have four spaces. You could charge them for 4 permits, a certain number, and then beyond that, if you want to raise the number. And the biggest thing is about my problem in North Bergen is people complain that my neighbor is not parking in their driveway and they have a driveway. And you can't, again, Mr. DeAngelo said before, the police have said, you can't force them to do certain things. And at the end of the day, if they don't want to park in their driveway, we can't force them to do that. You can encourage them, but you can't force them.
I agree. I think we should encourage people to use their driveways. In terms of a permit process, permit system. Look, I've spoken to many residents in all 4 wards, and in Belleville specifically, it varies dramatically. Right? You can go to Silver Lake, and then you can go to Rutan Estates, 2 completely different neighborhoods with 2 completely different needs. Now, some municipalities like East Orange have different parking rules by the ward, by the area. I don't think this is a one-size-fits-all approach. I think if we're going to go in this direction, which my personal opinion, what's currently going on is no longer working. So for us to sit up here and just throw our hands up and do nothing isn't going to solve the problem. It's going to make it only worse. So I think everyone agrees up here we should do something. But I do believe when you actually look at the specifics, each neighborhood is very different. So I don't think this could be a broad, brush. So, when we're thinking about the permits, additionally, I don't think we should be charging people to have a permit. I think it's just another tax. So I don't agree with that. I think that when it comes to the permit process and conceptualizing it, we need data. We need a parking study town-wide. I've spoken about that as a councilman. I'm ready. Hopefully we have the support up here of the council and our administration to seek that out and to implement that because we can't do anything without the data. We need to be informed. We need to see the hard numbers. We need to see them town-wide. So, that's how I think we should be going forward. I'm sure we're going to hear from the captain here. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor and Council, just to let you guys know, myself, the Deputy Chief, and the Town Manager, we met with Mr. Basilis many times. We actually visited his operation in North Bergen. So basically what he's going to do is he is going to get that data, and he's going to come up with recommendations. And it's up to you, the council, the mayor, to accept them, come up with your own. When it comes to these fees or for the permits he's talking about, again, that's your decision whether or not you want to charge a fee or not. We can come up with certain areas where we can make it a commercially zoned area or a residentially zoned area. So it's not going to be a one brush fits all. We can tailor it per neighborhood. We even talked about discussing starting a pilot program just in Silver Lake. Just, starting with this survey in Silver Lake, listening to the residents, what their biggest complaints is. He already knows because I filled him in on some of the complaints we got from the neighborhood, from Silver Lake, from the valley. and all the other areas about, apartment buildings going in certain areas, them taking up parking. And that's what he was talking about with, passing an ordinance, making the apartment buildings that are newly constructed, having them include the rent for the parking space in their rent. So they can't charge their tenants for parking on their property, where now those people are going to say, I'm going to park on the street. I'm going to get a free permit and park on Washington Avenue, rather than pay an extra $100 a month to park in a parking space on a building on Washington Avenue. So these are certain things that he can suggest, and then it'll be on you guys to take that action. So,
So I started it's almost 21 years ago. The permit was 3 years for $15. Today, the permit is 3 years for $15. So I inherited it, I kept it, I've never raised the price of the permit. But again, the interesting thing is when I've done other parking surveys, the residents are the ones that were saying, charge more. They see it as if you charge them for a permit, they're not going to buy it and they're going to park in their driveway. That's how they view that. But again, it depends. Everything I do is recommendations. They are for you and the council to vet and decide. I don't impose anything. I'll tell if you have a question about them, I'll give you the answers. At the end of the day, my job is to just help you get a system in place that's better. One of the first things you could probably do to make it easier is to start, and you can probably get that DOT doing it out there. That DOT, I'm not sure how they're going to mark it, but where you mark stalls. Now, people want stalls. They're going to always say that, but I got to give you, when they do put a stall in, it's got to go to DOT standards. So sometimes you may lose spaces by putting the lines on the street as parking stalls. But I'll give you all that information. I'll speak to whoever we need to speak to, and I'll meet with whoever I need to meet with whenever you're ready.
Frank, Mayor?
Great. Are there any other questions from the council?
Quick one.
Okay, Councilwoman.
Since you've been doing
Kutapos.
this, if we were to go to permit parking, we set a criteria for one family house. There's 4 people in it. Can we just say you're getting 3 permits because you have a driveway and your one car belongs in there? Or is that we can't tell them what to do?
Your ordinance can be whatever you want it to be. Your rules, regulations, and guidelines can be whatever you decide. I make recommendations based on the data we're going to collect and say, this is what we're seeing, this is what the public is telling me, and now telling you, and you could create an ordinance. We've done ordinances for the permit parking program for commercial vehicles, when they could park there, metered areas where at night, at a certain time, if you have a permit, you're able to park at a meter after the businesses close. So it's all about making it available for your residents, so that way and you somewhere to park.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
So just so I'm clear, you would be putting a plan together for Belleville.
Yes.
Okay. Once the plan, if looked at and accepted, can you also suggest enforcement? Right now, our police officers enforce, and they're doing it, but we're actually taking policemen and we're taking them off of others, where in enforcement, I would like to see the police and enforce. You know what I mean? From a parking standpoint, that's what they're trained to do. They're there. That I rather than boots on the ground, as I call it, than giving a ticket.
I'm trying to do better without reading off of things.
Okay.
So I got to not reading on anything until I'm going to get to this. So with regard to the law enforcement, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to go after BPU grants. You're able to get BPU money that is incentivized by PSE&G to get. I got 4 electric vehicles and money for infrastructure for chargers in some of your parking lots. You can get municipal ones, you can get ones for the parking lots, etc. My personal feeling is law enforcement, we leave our law enforcement to take care of law enforcement. We have a group of, I have 18 to 21, depending on the next couple of days. And it's tough to get officers. I was having that conversation today. It's tough to get some officers, especially if you're part-time, you don't offer any benefits. But the benefit is, a lot of times the officers that do come to me, they're looking to become police officers. So they're waiting on the list, and they come to me, and I know it's a short span, maybe a year or 2, but they come to me, and they're getting time. So whatever time they're getting time. I try to bring them on, give them a 3-month trial. If they do well, then I bring them on full-time. But again, if they only enforce the illegally parked vehicles, you'll be doing fine. Right now, I would bolster as much as you can. They should be in their own cars, and there should be enough of them to. Well, you don't have overnight parking, but once you do your permit parking, I do 24/7.
Right. But would you be able to make a recommendation based on your plan,
Yes,
on what we would need?
yes.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns from the council, administration,
No,
manager?
I'm good. I think to Councilwoman Guadabasco's point, I think you do have to put some kind of limitation on the number of permits you give each household. Otherwise, they will go right back to abusing it. And we have people that put 15 cars on a street, on a small street, that put commercial vehicles in their driveway and park their cars on the street. We all share the street. We all pay taxes for the street. So there should be some sort of fair balance on what everybody gets.
And I'm not sure if you have this ordinance on the books yet, but one of the ordinances that you may want to look at right now is you can reduce the length to a stop sign or a crosswalk based on ordinance. And again, you have to do the line of sight, make sure the engineers, you're not doing it in the wrong directions. But that is something that a lot of townships, especially up in Hudson, do. They shorten them so that way they add some more parking spaces.
We actually have that on the agenda to discuss tonight, but if the council would like to do that, our question to you guys is, if you would like to do that, to add the parking space, we can put an ordinance together for approval.
So, personally, I agree with that. Let's just make sure that before there's any extension, we make sure we have proper input from our traffic team, make sure they evaluate each corner, each street, because again, some streets it's pretty dangerous. It's getting really close, but others a little less. So we want to make sure that
We need traffic study.
yes, good, perfect,
Traffic study.
Certain streets, maybe in the more residential areas, you're able to do it.
yeah.
Depending on the size of the intersection where it is, it might not be feasible. So I don't think it will be every stop sign.
Okay.
We could, as many as possible, if it's approved, to get them down to 25, pick up that many spots.
Great.
More or less in the residential area.
So the mayor and council are aware what Deputy Chief is talking about is correct. Anytime we're going to make a change with regard to roads, stop signs, or anything like that, we have the Traffic Bureau do a traffic study, something they can send everyone to look at, rely on, and then make a decision accordingly prior to any ordinances.
Correct. So same process whenever we approve a new four-way stop, you see it on the agenda, and then we approve it with the recommendations from the traffic team. It's the same process. It would be, after a consultation with them, it'd be put up to a vote on the council. Anyone can discuss it, and we would move forward. It would not just be a blanket free-for-all.
So each one would have to be ordinanced in.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, the traffic study, depending upon what it says, you can base the facts in the traffic study to formulate the ordinance, and that gives you the support for the ordinance.
Yes.
Would they be able to identify all the ones that would be able to be converted? And then just-
Absolutely, absolutely. You don't need a separate traffic study
one
for
or-
everything.
one
They can do
ordinance.
they can do one traffic study identifying what streets in town you can reduce all in one traffic study, and then you do one ordinance making those changes to all those specified streets.
Great. And okay, do we have a timeline for this? What does it look like?
So probably everybody's away right now.
Yeah.
I'd probably say we'll probably start in September,
Okay.
and then hopefully first quarter of next year have the data ready.
So within the first quarter of next year, we think,
I'll work as fast as I possibly can.
great. Do
The
you,
thing is that
yeah,
what has slowed us down in the past is getting the responses to the surveys.
yeah,
You need a really good sampling in order for us to give you the data.
yeah.
But we have some other ideas that we're going to use this time.
So with the survey, how quickly can we get that out?
I would probably say we need to have a community meeting to get the input from your residents.
Okay. So I'm fine with another community meeting. We had a community meeting in 2025. We actually had a lot of people town-wide. It was very diverse. We had a presentation from the traffic team. It was really actually good community engagement from the police. And, it was a lot of the same what we heard. We heard a lot about people who at this point can no longer find a parking spot in front of their home and have to travel far distances now to park their car. And they're working these long shifts. They're coming back at night. Many people, especially there were a lot of young mothers who were there who said they don't feel comfortable walking late at night. They have to find a space, then they have to walk like 10, 15, 20 minutes. I think that, it's fine to have another meeting, but I think at this point, anyone living in Belleville, going through Belleville can tell you it's, we've reached, that breaking point already.
I can show you other surveys I prepared.
Yeah.
And you could tell me if you feel that those are appropriate questions, and then we could put it out that way this week.
Okay.
Generally, it's, can you find parking during the day? Can you find parking at night? We asked the area, town, or street you live on, which of these situations are you experiencing in your area? No availability of parking during the day, at night, people taking up more than one space, saving spaces, too many out-of-state temporary license plates on the street, commercial vehicles taking up spaces, insufficient parking in the business district, no parking problem. That one I'm just gonna take off because nobody ever answers that. Hours that you can come and visit, 1, 2, 3, 4, other. So if you come during the day and not have a permit, how long will it take my sister to come visit me? Can she stay for 1 hour, 2 hours as it's courtesy time? How long do they stay so they come to visit you? And then the others are, talked about a fee, but you're saying no fee. Which of the following would you like to see in your area? Parking stalls, limited number of permits, etc. So this is from another municipality, but generally they're kind of the same. But I like to get the input and the feedback from your residents. And again, it could be something as easy as at a couple council meetings, you ask some questions, or you put something up online and say, listen, or put it at the library, something real quick, and they just write out what their biggest problem is with parking.
Yeah. So we'll go first, and then we'll go back to you. We'll balance the time.
So I just have one question. In your experience, has there ever been a time while you were conducting the surveys and putting together the parking plan that you had to come back for additional funding on top of your original proposal?
No.
Okay.
Okay, Councilwoman Rodriguez.
So I'm a teacher and we use Google Form to survey families. Would you be able to do that? So that way we can then put that out online?
So most likely.
Yeah.
I'm old school. I know how to use the Texas Instrument calculator, but the Google Forms is where everybody goes. My staff do know how to do that. So we're going to do that. We're going to try and do a QR code, a bunch of different things.
Okay, that's
so
good.
We had some new ideas on how to set the survey as well as how to get information back. And again, the plan is as good as the information we get. And at the end of the day, it's your information. I mean, every caveat that we can talk about helps. So, and that's what I'm here. I'm here to help you.
Okay, Brian, do you have anything else to add? And could we repeat the cost for the public?
Up to 25,000.
So up to 25,000 a year. Okay, so up to $25,000 a year, and then for our CFO, if you could just elaborate on this.
Yeah, it's under 53,000.
Oh, if you could just turn the mic.
Sorry about that. It's under 53,000, so we can make the award in-house, or QPA can make the award. We don't have to wait for another meeting.
Okay.
As long as you guys are okay with it.
Okay, council. We're gonna take a straw poll. One of our council people went to the bathroom. So, everybody good with it? Any nays? Okay. All right, let's proceed.
All right, we got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
And just for everybody at home, that's to proceed with a study and consultation. Okay, we are now going to hear from our fire chief, John Olivieri, on 5 items: fire prevention ordinance updates, rooftop heaters and grills; 2, outdoor dining propane heater enforcement; 3, establish penalties for noncompliance regarding portable propane heaters at outdoor eating and drinking establishments; 4, alkali metal batteries, review and consider fire prevention regulations; 5, amendment to ordinance number 44-25, establish penalties and fines for non-compliance. Chief, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Chief Olivieri, Belleville Fire. I'll try to keep this brief. So the first 3 items there all pertain to one ordinance. That would be rooftop and assembly gathering, propane, use of propane heaters. I'll try to give you a brief summary of the ordinance. I'm trying to propose an ordinance that you guys can consider for introduction or adoption. So basically, the first ordinance is propane heaters. It's for the regulation through inspection of the use, the storage, and for us to be able to have businesses and resident owners pull out a permit so that we're aware that these are being used and we can do seasonal inspections while they're being used. If we don't know they're being used, we can obviously regulate them. And if we don't get in for an inspection, then we can make sure that they are being used safely and stored safely. So that's basically the first ordinance in a nutshell for the propane heaters. Just a way for us to regulate the use of and to be able to inspect them. Right now, we're not sure what businesses are using them, if any. We're not sure if they're being used properly, if they're being stored properly. So we're just trying to put something on the record so that we can get out there and know they're there and make sure that they're being used safely. So if there's any questions on that ordinance or that proposed ordinance? No, good. The second one is for the, we have like a big uptick in e-mobility devices, e-bikes, and these lithium ion battery chargers for different things, all kinds of appliances. So we want to put some kind of regulation on them so that when we do inspections, again, so that they're stored properly. There's 2 different pieces to this. There's for sales, people who are selling these things, the bikes and the batteries, that they are storing them properly and they're using proper chargers and they're going by manufacturer instructions, things like that. So, and then there's also residential areas that people use them, make sure they're not parked blocking egress, they're not in hallways of big buildings. So we put something in the ordinance so that maybe the landlord could put something in the lease to regulate the storage in those buildings, and we can enforce all the common areas for all 3-family and above, so that they're stored properly and they have all the requirements of the Uniform Fire Safety when they have these things in those buildings, in those businesses. So I'm sorry. We've had a couple calls to the fire department where these things are being stored in hallways, or other residents are concerned that they're either blocking egress or they're being charged in places where they can cause safety issues. So we would like to put an ordinance out so that we have some kind of leverage to rectify some of those safety issues. So that was the second one. I'm not sure if anyone has any questions on that or have heard any complaints on that, but we have gotten some calls at the fire department, and I just want to have some kind of something in place so we have teeth if we have to go out and inspect it. And the last ordinance that I'd like to propose is, so just a little background, beginning of this year, it was mandatory that all fire safety inspections are done by a licensed inspector. Before that, we were able to do it in-service personnel. Now we have to have licensed inspectors. So We always had licensed inspectors for our life hazard use buildings in town. Now we have to use inspectors for the non-life hazard uses. So those are residential, 3-family and above, and all businesses that are not life hazard. So we've been doing those inspections. It's been a challenge to get businesses to register. It's new, this is the first year. And it's been a challenge to get into some of the buildings, to get the information from the business and building owners. So we just want to put something in that ordinance that's been established, I think it's 44-25, saying that there'll be penalties, you'll be getting violations if you don't register, if you don't allow access, if you don't pay your registration fees, and give us proper information. So that was the third one that we'd like to propose to the council. The first, there says 5 there, but the first 3 are basically the propane heaters. So just like to, ask the council to consider adopting the ordinances to help us to, keep everyone safe and go through with those inspections. And that's
Okay.
it.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So if we can't get in, do we find them today?
So we don't have, we don't have
it.
any teeth in the ordinance right now for violations. It just says about registration fees. So I wanted to add that part to the ordinance, amended to say that, there'll be a violation and
who
for
would-
non-compliance,
And who would determine that fee?
It would be in the ordinance, correct?
Yeah.
So just so everyone's aware, the chief sent me 2 proposed ordinances very well. There's other towns that do this as well, and my office in the process of doing revisions, working with the chief to do that. The chief provided recommendations for 2 of the fees, which I think are in line with a lot of the municipalities. I revised it to have the fees per device, but the chief told me, and I agree, that they may be excessive because you have some larger restaurants that are going to have more than one device. And I think the purpose of this is to make sure that people are in compliance and are safe, not to hit everyone with a fee for every single device. So I think the chief's assessment is reasonable, and I think it's in line with what I've seen in other municipalities.
Thank you. I've been working with the attorney, going back and forth with the ordinance, put something together. And I think we kind of came up with something that maybe the council can review and consider. So,
Okay, any comments, questions from the council?
Assuming there's none, we were going to put the proposed ordinances on for a first reading at the next meeting, assuming everyone is okay with that.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Okay, we are now going to move forward with a presentation from our grant administrator, Gabrielle Bennett-Meany, on 2 items. Number 1, Community Energy Plan Workshop, and number 2, Historic Markers at Library Request for Signage. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening, Township Manager. Good evening, Frank DeMaria. So about a year ago, the Township Manager asked us to look into this program. It's the Community Energy Management, the Community Energy Plan Program. So just to give you a little history of it, in 2024, the governor signed into effect the state's overall Community Energy Plan, which is very ambitious in stating that they would like to reduce greenhouse gases something by 80 to 100% using different strategies. And in order to do that, they really need to solicit the municipalities because we're like the boots on the ground kind of people, and the municipalities are the ones that really have to do these initiatives locally so that they make a difference throughout the state. So the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities partnered with them to give out these grants. You had the Community Energy Plan Grant and you had the Implementation Grant. But you can't apply for an implementation grant until you get the Community Energy Plan together and do that program. So we're at this stage now, about 150 communities have done their plans. And this is the month where all of the plans are being presented to their municipalities, and last month. So some of our neighboring communities are also putting together this plan. So some of these strategies, it really is a framework. It's already written. We didn't really rewrite anything in it other than to say, what we could do what initiatives we could focus on. And it's really a whatever fits your community. So we worked on that. So you have the plan, we're looking at it, and once it's complete and approved, then we will be able to go ahead and use that to apply for other grants. So I'll just give you some examples and ideas very briefly. The township manager has been frustrated working with the Pays to Plug program. And this grant would have covered the full cost of that program. The Pays to Plug program does not cover the full cost. So this would have been a really great program that we could have utilized having this plan in place. He is still working on the Pays to Plug program, and for what, you guys don't know that is the vehicle electrification and supplying the charging stations. And that's also another example of one of the strategies in the plan is vehicle electrification. We're not setting an example if we don't update some of our fleet cars to electric vehicles, then how can we go out and do public outreach to the community and suggest that maybe they should purchase an electric vehicle? There was the Charge It New Jersey plan, which if you purchased an electric vehicle, you could have gotten a rebate. We're waiting to see if they update that plan. So there's a whole bunch of strategies in here that we could use both for public outreach and to benefit our municipality and community. I will tell you that there are a couple of grant programs like the RGGI program, which we have already utilized. So with the RGGI program, the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, the Board of Education purchased 2 school buses. So we are listed on that program and in their plan as having participated in that. And so we should be really proud of that. The other program we participated in was the Trees for Schools program, where the municipality partnered with the school district, and we planted about 140 trees. And the DEP is very excited. They're using us as a model. We already did a ground truthing inspection, and they are coming back now to measure the trees and to do the carbon sequestration calculation. So as you can see, this is all part of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, which is prompting, or however you want to say it, is, we look at climate change and all of the things that we do every day. And this sort of plan is supposed to guide us and help us to make things better. So that's what the plan is. And I just wanted to give you a brief overview of it. And as you read it, this is a framework. Every community has a very similar framework. Like I said, we're not reinventing the wheel. So that's this project.
Hey, Gab? May I?
Yes.
Gab, is this a full grant or partial grants?
This is a full, so to develop the plan was a full grant to hire a consultant to help us put together the plan. So this part is almost finished. Once it's adopted tonight, it's complete.
Right, so that my point is, we, the town, don't put nothing towards that.
No, it's 100% reimbursed.
Great. Okay, it's 100% reimbursed.
100% reimbursed. And if you want to know, it was a $10,000 grant.
Gotcha.
So it was a very easy, simple thing to do, and that's why the township manager prompted it. We got right on it, and we wrote for it, and we were one of the 150 communities that received it and are putting together the plan.
Okay.
And they're going to go through a third round, I'm sure, because the state, like I said, is very ambitious. They want to reduce greenhouse gases. Yeah,
And just so we know that resolution is on to adopt it tonight, correct?
I believe it is.
Are there any other questions or concerns from the council? Okay. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Benamini.
All right.
Thank you.
And part 2. So also earlier this year, the township manager forwarded to me the email for the Historic Preservation Committee to look into an email that he received from an organization, the Asian American Pacific Islanders Organization. They wrote for a grant themselves, this nonprofit organization wrote for their own, to develop a historic marker honoring the Chinese immigrants that first came to Belleville. Many people, as you know, some of the history of Belleville, many people think that the first Chinese settlers settled in New York, but that's not true. They actually settled here in Belleville. So they wanted to display that, and we worked with them to together find a location that the state is very happy about, that we have found it. So I think you have information about this marker in your packet. And there will also be a resolution. So once you also accept this donation of this historic marker, you'll probably, or we'll work together to find a date where we can do the unveiling and ribbon cutting for the historic marker from these folks. And they are very excited, and they said thank you for allowing them to do this and to put it here in Belleville, because their next step was to go to a county park, and that would have been,
I think that's great.
all right.
Resolution for that is on tonight as well.
Great. Okay, we are going to move on to the report of the manager.
All righty. All right, just a quick update on some of our capital projects. Our friendly house is now complete. The floor is finished, so hopefully we can reopen that facility. And also we're going, because we have a lot of requests for open play hours as we review our ordinances for use of our fields and facilities, we'll try to build that concept into it. Next up, we have Santander Municipal Parking Lot. That is just about complete. We're just waiting for Park Mobile and the parking bumpers. Hopefully, we're going to have a grand opening to that 30-space parking lot very, very soon. The fire tower, the training tower, that is also complete. And I think we passed all of our inspections and we're okay to use it, right? Okay. Maybe? One more. We're almost there. The township lower lot. So the lower lot is having security arms installed, and that will work with our key cards. That is for us to move our personnel down into that lot and open up the lot right next to Town Hall for residents and patrons of businesses. It's just another effort for us to increase the amount of parking along Washington Avenue. So there is a cost associated with that. That's also on resolution tonight, right, Mr. DiMaria? So just so you know about that. But we're in the middle of doing that, and we're going project by project now and just trying to get everything done. So that's next on our list. Easy Ride, the Jitney service, they got back to us with an update. They said that NJ Transit received our grant application from the NJTPA, and the proposal is still currently under review by their bus planning team. So hopefully all goes well, and we'll hear positive news very soon. This is a piece of us getting our Jitney. It's going to help. It's a grant that helps us pay for it over the next 3 years. So it was an important part of our, especially our pilot of doing this, so it didn't hit us too hard on whether or not we're going to go forward on it. So we're getting closer with that. The air system presentation had to be pushed back to next month because the company couldn't make it. But we also will be meeting with PSE&G to see if there's other options out there, either with incentives or grants or other things to just help us pay for this, because it is a large expense. But we do believe that it's going to be cheaper on our budget to put a new system in than it is to continue to fix the old system. So we'll go over that more as the time comes. I have a few updates on our road projects. I know everybody's interested in Main Street. The DOT finished the review, so we are going out for bids and plan to receive those bids for the job in August. Our Center and Charles Street, the water main, the bids were awarded. We still are awaiting, unfortunately, for clearance from the CDBG. We were hoping to have it by this month, but we still don't, so that's just a waiting game. The lead line replacement program, that contract was awarded as well. We're just waiting for the NJI Bank to award, which I'm told that's tonight. So hopefully we can start that soon. And just one other update is that PSE&G will be starting service upgrades throughout our area. So what does that mean? Over the next 10 to 14 days, they're going to be working on our streets. They're going to start pulling up streets again on us. So that's going to be another project in our neighborhoods for everybody to watch out for. And if they're concerned with what it is PSE&G. They have about 14 miles of town of road to work on. So that's pretty much, that covers almost the whole town. We are going to try to work with them. We met with the engineers and them. We're going to try to balance out their projects with our road projects so that we get better results at the end, meaning our streets are all paved nicely. So just a heads up about that. Otherwise, I just want to note some resolutions that are on tonight. One of them was the electric gate. The other is Resolution 242, 2026. That is approving the award to PSE&G for the long-promised upgraded streetlights along Franklin Street. This will help meet our goals to provide improved safety and security at night in this area, and also to provide beautification aspect to the downtown, as these are decorative lights. They also include outlets so that we could decorate the street for holidays and festivities. A major piece of that, and thank you to Mr. Di Maria, he found a whole bunch of credits and incentives from PSE&G that were owed to us, and that is covering the entire
Entire
portion
amount.
of it, the entire amount, which is 270
$79,000.
279,000. So that is a great thing that this town is basically getting for free. So other than that, there's one other resolution on that I wanted to make a note. FIFA used our high school stadium throughout the summer to practice their closing ceremony performances. As they left, they not only obviously paid us for the lease, which we will be reinvesting in our school, in our fields, our recreation fields next year. We'll talk more about that, but they also donated a bunch of equipment to us, from rec stuff to office stuff, so that's a great thing for the town. That is a resolution that's on, Resolution 251, 2026, just so there's no confusion of what that is. That is their donation to us of all that equipment. And that's all I have.
Great. Okay, we're going to move on to report.
I do have a
yes.
question, Mayor.
Yes,
For
Councilman.
the manager. You said CFO found money for the lights?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that big one is, there. The gate, is that hitting us this year in the fiscal year, or is it hitting 2027?
That's gonna be, that's this year's capital facilities. Not operation and capital.
Okay, I just gotta mark that down. Okay, and there's no way that can't, about pushing it to 27?
You can, it'll set you back,
It's
calendar-wise.
it sets, right, there's a couple
It's not
things that
gonna-
gets.
It's not gonna hit, we haven't borrowed on that money yet, so the borrowing isn't gonna be till next July regardless.
So it's not hit, so our budget for 26, it's not affecting 26 budget.
Nothing. No interest, no principal, nothing.
There's nothing. So nothing in here is affecting the 26,
Capital
what we
cash,
just
the front
did.
there, yeah.
Okay.
When we permanently finance. When we go out and borrow on that.
On 27.
In 2027.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns from members of the council to the manager? Okay, going once, going twice. Told to no one. Okay, we are now going to the report of the mayor. So it has been a busy, what is it now, 28 days. So what have we been up to? So probably you've seen online, the manager and I, alongside our council colleagues, have been walking through the neighborhoods, walking through streets, speaking to business owners, speaking to residents about quality of life issues, following up on concerns. It's really been great and refreshing that, this isn't just for a very small portion of the year. When ballots go out, it's all throughout our terms. It's really been an amazing opportunity, just continuing to walk the beat and get back to the basics, right? Hitting the ground and speaking to people, meeting them where they are. And we're going to be very excited to be rolling out the community meeting schedule for the different ward meetings over the next year, the remainder of the year, and for next year. We've had a number of successful flag raisings, a lot of attendance. Very grateful to see everyone out in the audience. The summer concert series has been really a hit. Just at our last summer concert, I think we had a peak attendance. I think it was, maybe 600 people, 700. It was very high for Salsa Night. And all the nights have been great. Looking at OEM, we had a great discussion here, and we've had some really good meetings in the lead up to the council meeting. The manager and I met with PSNG and discussed actually a number of cost-saving measures that I think was the first time both you and I have heard of, and really would make a significant benefit to this township. So very happy and grateful for that. We had a chat and chew just now with Assemblywoman Morales. Councilwoman Rodriguez was there. Councilman Cazarelli was there. They can both attest that I was there. I got my pizza, said hello to everybody. We were able to speak with everybody, and then I saw the fire trucks, and I wanted to see what was happening. And I will say, I want to say a big thank you to our first responders because there was actually a downed wire. There was an active wire. I want to thank, again, our Belleville Police, our Belleville Fire. They responded immediately. People have seen it on social media. It just had happened as we were at the event. Again, and there are many residents who actually commented. They said it was, lack of a better word, lightning speed. I know that term is not very good, but, in terms of everybody just right there, immediately coming onto the scene, making sure everyone was all right, handling the situation, because, again, it was a live wire. You can actually hear the buzzing of the wire, hundreds of feet away. It was so loud, and it was arsing, as the chief, shared with us. So I want to say a big thank you again to our Belleville first responders for stepping up. And we have had many conversations as a budget committee, continuing our work on the budget and doing everything we can to comb through that and make as many savings as possible. So that is my report of the mayor. We are now going to head into approval of minutes. So, Madam Clerk.
Okay, we're doing approval of minutes. Do you want to do them together? Do you want to do them individuals? Up to you, Mayor.
So let's separate on who up here was part of the previous council. So there were 5 people up here who were part of the previous council. So for our new council members, just remember, since you were not present, unless you have thoroughly read those minutes, you should abstain from those minutes because you were not on the council at that time. So I'm going to ask for a motion to vote on the approval of the minutes for items A and B, approving the minutes of the December 16th, 2025 meeting and the June 23rd, 2026 meetings.
Motion.
Is there a second? Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Portabasco?
Yes.
Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Abstain.
Wells?
Abstain.
Mayor Velez?
Yes.
Okay. Motion
Okay.
passed.
So I'm now going to ask for a motion for the approval minutes of C, D, and E, and those are the July 1st, 2026 meeting, the July 8th, 2026 meeting, and the July 14th, 2026 meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, clerk, may you please call the roll?
Councilmember Cosarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Guardabasco?
Yes.
Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes. Okay, communications.
Communications, memorialization of resolutions introduced during January 1st, 2026 reorganization meeting and adopted by motion and roll call vote was number 1, Resolution 224-2026, resolution appointing Tracy Juanita Muldrow as Deputy Mayor of the Township of Belleville, Essex County, New Jersey. Number 2 is Resolution 225-2026, resolution appointing Thomas Graziano as Second Ward Council Member to fulfill an unexpired term until the next general election. B, memorialization of resolutions introduced during the January 8th, 2026 work session meeting and adopted by motion and roll call vote. Number 1, Resolution 226-2026, resolution to amend the annual 2026 council meeting schedule by canceling all remaining Wednesdays afternoon work session meetings at 12:30 p.m. Number 2, Resolution 227-2026, appointing members to the Planning Board. Number 3, Resolution 228-2026, appointing and reappointing members of the Zoning Board.
Thank you. We are now going to head into ordinances. We are going to look at ordinances for introduction. Ordinance for introduction, ordinance number 31-26, an ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Township of Belleville, New Jersey, Chapter 8-16, entitled Handicap Parking Spaces Removing. Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Guardabasco? Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes.
Okay, motion to introduce.
Okay, ordinance for introduction, ordinance number 32-26. An ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Township of Belleville, New Jersey, Chapter 8-16, entitled Handicap Spaces. Can I get a motion on this?
Motion.
Second.
There was a motion. Who was the second?
Guardabasco?
So Councilwoman Garabasco made the second or the first?
Second.
So who made the first?
Tommy.
Okay, I didn't hear
Yeah.
that. Okay. Okay, any discussion? Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Guardabasco?
Yes.
Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes.
Okay, introduced. His motion passed.
Okay. Ordinance for introduction, ordinance -33-26. An ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the Code of the Township of Belleville entitled General Licensing, Article 17, entitled Solicitors and Canvassers. End quote. Can I get a motion on ordinance number 33-26?
Motion. Second it.
Okay, any discussion? Okay. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Cosarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Guardabasco?
Yes.
Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes.
Motion to approve for introduction, ordinance 3326.
Okay, ordinance for introduction, ordinance number 34-26. An ordinance fixing personnel positions, salary, wages, and compensation amounts and rates, repealing ordinance number 30-26. Can I get a motion on this?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
May I?
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure that I addressed council and our residents concerning this ordinance. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that the Budget Committee, we have been working very hard behind the scenes. There were changes that were proposed to us by Mr. Di Maria and Mr. Banda, and we thought it best to strip those proposed changes down to the things that were completely necessary. In our discussions, what we discovered is that the conversation regarding salaries and stipends required a lot more care. We figured that it would be best to start instilling a structure so that our town employees can expect consistency and have an expectation of what it looks like for them moving forward. And so because of that, the things that are proposed are mainly titles changes, salary range corrections, just really rectifying things that should have been rectified some time ago. But I want to make sure that it is known that we have not forgotten. We really, really feel like we need to continue the conversation. And because we didn't want to rush through those changes, they will continue after the budget has been put into place. And also, the proposed changes that will be presented today will not impact the budget that has already been presented. That's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other comments? Any other discussion?
No, Ms. Wells hit it right on the head, and we're going to continue to go down this road to right the wrongs and to evaluate what's currently in place and look at surrounding towns and compare and contrast and move forward. So we are working hard. We meet often, and we will keep sharing as we do.
Can I just add, I just feel like we deserve we feel like our town employees deserve our undivided attention when we have this conversation, and that's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman and Councilmen. I agree. We had some very, very spirited meetings, I can say. There were a number of proposals that were presented. I could tell you nearly all of them fell, we were not comfortable pursuing those.
Yes.
Especially with the conversations about the budget. What is being presented is really the bare bones, what is necessary, as well as those minor changes, and rectifying, ranges that the administration felt were absolutely necessary. Is there any other conversation on the floor? Okay, anything that the administration would like to say? Manager Banda, CFO Di Maria? Okay,
No.
So we look forward to working with you guys on it.
okay,
Big project.
Big project.
yep. Okay. So, now discussion is over. Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion.
There was
Second.
already.
Yeah, I did give the first,
Yeah.
and then we
Oh.
started the.
Yeah, the fir-
Councilmember Wells.
Oh, roll
made
call,
first,
apologies.
and-
Oh,
Yeah,
roll call.
okay. Councilmember Casarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Guardabasco?
Yes.
Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 34-26 introduced.
Okay. We are now going to speak about and move on to ordinances for public hearing and second and final hearing.
There's
There
none.
are none. So we are now going to move on to the consent agenda. I'm going to give everybody a moment.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Public comments come before.
You sure?
So public comment is on here.
It's on 14.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Just so the mayor and council are aware, there's no legal requirement in terms of when you want public comment to come in the line of your agenda. That being said, it's at the pleasure of the mayor and council as to when they would entertain comments from the public. It can come at any point that you want, as long as you open to the public at some point in the meeting. There is no legal requirement as to when.
So
These are-
I'm going to unilaterally move the public comments before the consent agenda. So I'm going to do that.
You just need a motion to amend the agenda to move public comment up.
So, yes, if we can get a motion to now open public comments.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Casarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Guardabasco?
Yes.
Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes, we are now in the public comment section of the meeting. This is where any member of the public may approach the dais. They can speak about anything in which we hope is town-related business, and they must state their name and address for the record. So is anyone who would like to address the council? Yes? You may approach the
Again,
podium.
just for the mayor and council's edification, this is not a question and answer period. It's only a time period for the public to make comments. For the mayor and council to listen to those comments, there is no requirement that you respond. It's not a back and forth. Members of the public are going to have 5 minutes. Please allow members of the public to have their entire 5-minute period. Once they're done speaking, should you choose to make a comment, that is when you should do so.
Philomena Frantantoni, Mount Prospect Avenue. I've been a resident, taxpayer, and homeowner for 59 years in Belleville. On December 16th, I go to the senior club, not club, whatever you want to call it. On December 16th, 2025, I paid my $25 fee to join. I filled out the questionnaire. And one thing I want to know is, why did we have to give our cell phone provider? I don't think that was any of your business. I did it, and after I did regret it. I received the first card, a green one, that when you went in, you scan it. And it worked on and off. Then a month later, they had, I guess, the high school kids there. They said, oh, we're going to give you a new card because now you need a picture ID. I says, what, to go to the senior club? You need a picture ID to participate in exercise class? I mean, this is ridiculous. I refused to do it. I said, I will not take a picture until they say I have to have a ID with a picture on it to vote. So I refused all this time. which I think is my right. A few weeks ago, when I was at the senior thing, I was at chair yoga. And I was in the middle of a class, and all of a sudden, Lenny from the recreation department comes in while you're exercising. He walks up to me. He says, "Here, I got something for you." I stuck it in my bag, and when I went home, I looked at it. I don't know who it was, went on Facebook, took my picture off Facebook, and put it on a card and gave it to me. I think that's an infringement on my rights, and I don't think that they had the right to go and screenshot my picture and put it on something that I refuse to do. I think whoever it is, I think you should find out, because they can do it to somebody else and you can get into the wrong hands. You see what happens when they take other people's identity, take other people's pictures, and what they can do. So I'm making a complaint. I think that somebody ought to do something about it. Every time I went in, I signed in. They have all my information. They don't need my picture. We are not criminals. We are senior citizens that go to exercise class. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I still refuse to do it. I will not use the card. I will sign in when I go in. When they, like I said, when they say you need a picture ID to vote, then I will do it. Till then, I refuse. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to approach dais? Okay, Mr. Draws. I'm going to go here.
Thank you. Mario Draws, 95 Bell Street. At one of the meetings not too long ago, I inquired about the website that was currently being run by the town and being run now. And I was told it's under the threshold. And of course, I was told, well, if we can't give you much information, do an Oprah. Well, I did an Oprah, and I find the Oprah and the information that I received very disturbing. I'm going to start with this one here. I highlighted it for the sake of time. I'll read that right here. Okay. Let me just tell you what I don't like about this contract. All right. First, I have a letter here, Alpha Dog Solution, from an individual named Frank Belli. Please be advised, on July 26th, you will continue utilizing the services of Alpha Dog. Okay. And also, if services for legal fees, there's a separate requirement for that. So I'm going to just read what I highlighted here. Thank you for your letter. This is from Alpha Dog, former mayor. Thank you for your letter regarding Alpha Dog, blah, 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 etc. Alpha Dog did not solicit it. In late December 2025, I informed the township manager, effective July 1st, 2026, Alpha Dog will no longer provide services. And again, I reiterated the position May 2026. So the town had, since last year, 6 months ago, to start looking for someone to take over the website. Now, I'm not going to read everything here, but this is very disturbing. This is from Alpha Dog. It is my understanding that this agreement will be executed administratively by the chief financial officer and/or qualified purchasing agent, and will not be submitted to the township council for consent. Will not be submitted to the council for a vote, approval, or other action. Proposals being offered based on the understanding, should this matter be placed on the township council agenda, consideration, discussion, approval, ratification, or anything similar, consider this proposal immediately withdrawn. And I think that's the correct statement right here. This falls under the threshold. Yeah, it does fall under the threshold. It's $29,000 for one, and there's another part there for legal aid. I don't know how much that is. But on the same token, you were able to put on the agenda hiring an individual who signed that letter for $44,000, and it had to come, it was a May resolution hiring him in 2025. But this doesn't have to come on a resolution and be proposed to the township council. That's that. And then I'm also looking at the legal ads, which is separate charge on top of the $29,000. He wants a $4,000 administrative fee, late fees, $8,500 if development fees. Then if you don't renew his contract or give him notice by the end of the year, he's automatically renewed for the next 12 years. 12 months. 12 months. You may terminate this agreement any 30 days from now. It's also signed, not by the manager, not by the mayor and council, but this individual named Frank Belli. But I do notice one thing between three people here. They're all connected together, and one may even be related. So there is a big conflict here from what I can see. There's two contracts here. Are these two contracts being separated so they don't go over the threshold? There's another note here. I think this is something that may warrant an investigation. I don't like the way it sounds, but I know people have their own answers here. Monthly service fee, $4,000. No errors in emission insurance. The town is responsible for it. I'm sure there's other people going to make comments on it, so I don't want to take up any, but you can terminate this in 30 days. Also, whoever drew up I know there's a couple of people may have bid on this contract, but what's disturbing about it? Respondents must be organizations, not individuals. So a poor guy like Michael Sheldon, who's done it before, he couldn't bid on it. He wanted to bid on it for $1 for the transition. That's all he wanted to do for the community and save the money. He can't do it. So this is like a biased contract here. And also, one last item.
Sir, that's your time. Have you finished up your comment?
Yeah, I'm done. Just want to make one comment. This is important because you were talking about the illegal apartments. You have to think of one thing. If you find any, what happens to the children that are in the school system, number one. Number
Thank you,
two.
Mario.
No, I'm done.
I know we're running 10 seconds over now.
Okay, but somebody else is going to pick
Thank
up
you.
on me anyway.
Okay. Mrs. Bennett-Meany.
Gabrielle Bennett Meany, 162 New Street. So this is Kai from the organization, and I had no idea you were sitting behind me the whole time. So she wants to speak just to say, that, I think you guys got a sample of what the marker is going to look like, and we're so excited to have partnered with you, and,
I'll just introduce myself. Hi, everybody. Mayor, Council, I'm Kai Barrios. I'm the Education Director with AAPI New Jersey. We work on furthering Asian American histories in public schools across the state. As you know, there's a state mandate to teach Asian American history in social studies classes. So I'm just thankful for your partnership and look forward to the unveiling ceremony. Hopefully we can invite the Lieutenant Governor, the team at the Department of State that's worked with us, and really highlight the history of Belleville. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Frantantoni, please come up.
Vincent Frantantoni, 129 Mount Prospect Avenue. I'll put all these things together, illegal apartment epidemic, parking, and all that stuff there. Part of this problem is self-inflicted. I go back to the Kimball administration when we were complaining about no parking and all these illegal apartments, and I drew up a poster for warning illegal apartments, and there's the ordinance that says you'll be punished for it. I gave it to the council, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and finally, one day I complained, it's going to be in the next bill. And the thing was, it wouldn't cost a penny, just the paper. Put it in every water bill. Put it in every tax bill. It's the same envelope, it's just one little piece of paper. Not everybody will apply it, but there'd be some people with consciences and scared of this. And they won't do it. Nothing happened. I brought it up again in a meeting. And, oh, it's going to be in the next water bill. Well, it wasn't in the next water bill. But you know what they did? They cut out 1.25 inch strip of the ordinance. They went through all the trouble to cut that skinny piece of paper out and put it in the water bill. A couple of friends of mine, I asked them again, most people thought it was an accident. A piece of scrap paper was in there. They didn't put the full one in here. Once again, I'll give it to the council. Not only you should put it, you should post it all over the place. Let these people know they're going to be punished. Violators will be prosecuted. The other thing is, when I say parking, most of it's self-inflicted. Go to all the, you know, I'm new in town, like my wife said, 59 years, and I went to my first town meeting in 58 town meetings. And Mr. Attorney, we used to be courteous with the public. There was no 5 minute. You want to speak, some of our meetings go 1 o'clock in the morning. We're paying taxes. We let the people speak back then. What's happening? You got a planning board. You approve, I'm not giving any specific, for example, 150 units. And then the developer says, well, we're going to give 141, and their traffic consultant or whoever says, we're only 8 short. We're only 8 short. That contributes to the lack of parking, all right? The other thing is, all these high-density apartments, I don't know if any of you, I don't think any of you shop online, do you? Nobody buys anything online, right? You got all these trucks, and that goes to the big truck things. Everybody buys online. None of these high-density apartments have any facility. William Street, where do all these trucks? Where does UPS? Where does all the Facebook or the other Amazon? Where they park? This is all self-inflicted damage that we're creating with them. The other thing, go on Hannah Street. You take an old house on a little lot, you cut it in half, you change your ordinances, and you allow them to build these two skinny hut. I'm a contractor. I felt sorry for one day. We went to Aldi's, my wife and I come home, I went there. There's like 3 feet between the houses. The guys are on the scaffold trying to nail siding like this. Now, do we need garbage cans? Yeah, the average garbage can's about 28 inches. You got a 3-foot alleyway. So you put a garbage can, you can't even walk past it. This is all self-inflicted. You've got to get back to the density ordinance. And this, the other one, I forget the address, where the guy, a one-family house, I think he made 8 houses on there, skinny little houses, and took half the parking spaces away for driveways. The other thing is you can't allow these, you know, when you say stacked parking, oh, we're going to put a garage in the front and 2 cars will go in the garage and the third one will go, so we got 3 parking spaces. Yeah, so the guy in front, he's going to wake up everybody in the house. You got to go work for, oh, would you move your car out and you move my car out? So this is all self-inflicted. The other thing you could do without all these parking authorities and all these other problems, Mr. DeAngelis is here. There was a house on my street, 2 doors away from me, and I'll never squeal on anybody.
Sir,
Old
that's your-
two
sir, that's your
family.
time, please finish your comment.
Well, Mayor, if you give me another minute. It was an old 2-family. For years, 30 years, he's renting the attic and renting the basement. I don't squeal on anybody. But then one day I come home, my wife told me, the firemen were there, 12 o'clock at night. The young family, the kids there, somebody left the gas on. The whole fire department was in that house. The next night, the police department were there because he was renting an apartment with no bath. He's letting the 28-year-old young lady use his bathroom. Her mother comes up and finds him peeking on this. So she called the department. So now
Thank
I
you,
went
Mr.
to the
Frantantoni.
town manager and all,
Thank
go
you.
there. So they went there, Mr. DeAngelis. They find him.
Thank you.
30 days to get out. A month later, he rents them again. We got to follow up. Once you get caught with a illegal apartment, you should make an ordinance that you have to
Thank you.
be there, and
You
every
received
year
another
you
minute,
go for
yes.
an inspection.
Thank you.
All right, I look, you know, this, we love you, you know, Mr. Mayor, you make all this, oh, I'm for Belleville, oh, look at the beautiful flowers,
Yes.
oh, look at this, that, all your videos and all, but you don't want to hear input from people who have the knowledge to help you out.
We gave you another minute.
Huh?
We have to apply the same standards to
Yeah,
everyone.
it took you 2.5 hours to go through one page of the agenda, and you give us 5 minutes. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And number one, I want to thank some of your new members for using the microphone. Finally, to the other council, they didn't even know
Thank you,
what the
Mr.
hell a
Fritzantoni.
microphone was.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Rodriguez.
Ruben Rodriguez, Cedar Hill Avenue. Thanks for getting me. I wanted to come before the dog and ponies show up. Welcome back, Mr. Graziano. And real
Can we
quick,
get your address for the record, sir?
I'm sorry?
Address.
Yeah, 179 Cedar Hill.
179 Cedar Hill.
I came really to talk about the permit parking that I saw on this. You know, you guys did run on affordability. I just want to remind you that it was a big deal, and we just gave away $20,000 to some guy who's telling us he's going to fix our parking. I was in North Bergen last night. You can't park in North Bergen. But you know, I would love to hear, you know, everybody thinks permit parking is going to be a little $5 placard you put on your car and it's going to go away, but who's going to enforce it? How much is all that going to cost? I'd love to hear that before this goes. And I'm going to be here every time this permit parking is on this thing. Also, just some real quick things. I don't know, maybe I'll offer you some. If Airbnb is renting out apartments, why don't we just rent the apartment, and once we go in there, we get them, or get Airbnb to not allow. We have an ordinance, right, that you can't rent an apartment for more than, it has to be 90 days or something like that. So can't you connect with Airbnb? That's not something you do, that they won't work with townships on that? Well, that sucks. And what about trying like the free Yankee tickets thing, and you rent, you know what I'm talking about? You've seen the movie, right? Like I'll rent the apartment for them, and I'll stay there and tell you who they are, and then you could pinch them. No problem. I'll take a 10% fee. But really, I really want to get back. Oh, same thing, you know, the illegal apartment epidemic. Didn't we just do a whole, when you were on the board of Ed, didn't we just do a whole re-registration that cost a ton of money because we had people working overtime at CASA every night to bring in registration because we were going to get rid of all of the illegal apartments that way? And we got rid of how many through the re-registration? I mean,
Councilwoman Cortobasco.
They got rid of over 400 students.
No, how many illegal apartments did we find?
That's the town. The Board of Ed only gets rid of the
You
student.
know what I mean?
and
A
then
lot of those, like I was one of those students because I went, well, I wasn't, but my daughter was considered one of those students because I didn't re-register, but I put her in another school. So
Right.
there's really you really can't tell, you know, but the fact is we didn't get any real illegal apartments out of it.
I don't know if they could legally give the address out. I think it was a legal issue, but that would be the town manager to.
That's one of the things we were told. So now I'm hearing the same thing about permit parking. And that's, you know, I'm not stupid to realize that illegal epidemic discussion is right before the permit parking. And that's the story going online is we get permit parking, we'll get rid of all the illegal apartments. I got news for you. If you're smart enough to figure out how to rent an apartment illegally, you're going to be smart enough to figure out how to get permit parking illegally. People that do things illegally because they do things illegally, right? So I just want to, you know, to remember that you ran on, and thank you once again for saying a fee is a tax, because a fee is a tax, a grant is a tax. Even if a grant comes from PSE&G, I got news for you. That's coming from our electric bills. So even a grant, and I know I have a friend in here who's great at getting grants, and I agree, if the state's going to give out these grants, we might as well get them. But at the end of the day, that's not the government doesn't make money. The government doesn't have a job. We're their job, right? So please, I just want you to, as this parking, because I know this parking thing is going to come up every month. Every month it's going to be a hot button topic. But towns like towns in Hudson County, they're by the city, so they have buses that go into the city today. So they had long-standing parking authorities that were able to do this. Are we going to be ready to bring in a full-time parking authority with more cars and more employees? It's not going to be a $5 fee. It's just not, or a $100 fee. It's going to escalate. And I'm sorry, it's just, no offense to any of you, government doesn't do anything well. So there's nothing that we do that government's gonna lower the cost. The taxes never gone down. Fees have never gone down, okay? So I just wanted to put that in your mind, and this is my like new thing. And then one last question, and I don't mean to sore subject. Food truck park. I haven't heard about it in a while, so that'd be cool if you guys could give us an update. But other than that, thank you. You guys did a great job, and see you soon. How was that time?
30 seconds to spare, actually.
I'm pretty good at that, right?
Yeah. Pretty good. Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to approach the podium? Okay, Mr. Sheldon. So we're going to write that down.
I brought along my own little timer. Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. Couple of real quick questions. Where do we stand right now in starting these meetings at 7 p.m.? And even more importantly, where do we stand in making the full agenda packets available online prior to meetings, as almost every other community in New Jersey does for its residents and have been doing for years? Resolution G, I want to make sure everyone on the council, Mr. Graziano and Mr. Banda will know what G is all about. But this project at 519 Washington Avenue, that's the old CVS directly across from the Taco Bell. The applicant came before the planning board in January of this year. They're going to convert that CVS into a laundromat. Fine. But in order to implement that, they want to drill a well. They don't want to have to pay the exorbitant water rates that all of us have to, that were imposed by the former administration starting in the fall of 2020. Instead, this laundromat is going to drill a well into the aquifer and bypass having to pay the town for water. My concern is what that could do to the surrounding community, especially in the Fourth Ward. So Ms. Guardabosco should make an inquiry into that. Illegal apartments. I don't know if any of you have bothered to do some online research to see how other communities address this problem. But communities like Garfield, Elmwood Park, et cetera, they have online tips, anonymous tipping services, so residents can report suspect properties. So combined with those reports and then observation of the outside of the building, multiple mailboxes, multiple meters, then the code officials go to their municipal judge and have the judge sign off on probable cause, which allows the code official people to go inside. You don't have to wait for a fire or a police incident. So there are ways to do this under the existing law to find out when buildings are being illegally used. So with that said, I want to read a prepared statement. This follows up on what Mario Droz was talking about. And this has to do with the suspect website contract that's in place. I want to bring to your attention immediate, serious and legal statutory concerns regarding municipal procurement, specifically surrounding the Township OPA request number 26-968. These public records contain correspondence dated between March 29, 2026 and June 9, 2026, involving the chief financial officer, the qualified purchasing agent, and a private municipal website vendor, Alpha Dog Solutions. Most critically, these public records prove that this paid municipal agreement was negotiated, drafted, and finalized between May 29th and June 9th, while the former mayor was still sitting in office following the May 12th election. Negotiating future paid municipal vendor contracts with municipal subordinates while holding public office is a direct violation of local government ethics law 48-9-22.5. Merely postdating the effective start date to July 1st when the official transition to private citizen status does not cure or erase the unlawful in-office self-dealing that occurred while in power. While the vendor's June 9th email attempts to construct a plausible deniability narrative of being a reluctant participant who did not solicit the work, the document tells a very different story. A vendor genuinely uninterested in a municipal contract simply declines the engagement. Here, the vendor actively attached and submitted two separate drafted legal agreements for administrative execution, exposing the reluctant accommodation claim as a paper facade. Of paramount concern to this community and the integrity of local government is explicit language contained within the vendor's June 9th correspondence. The vendor specifies that the proposed website and legal advertising agreements were offered on the explicit understanding that they would be executed solely by the CFO and QPA administratively without being submitted to the Township Council for consent, approval, or action. The town manager, who is the town's CEO, was not included within the same discussions and negotiations. Most alarmingly, the vendor explicitly states that should the agreement be placed on a council agenda for public discussion or consideration, the proposal is immediately withdrawn and rendered null and void. Furthermore, the public record reveals an explicit calculation to artificially split services, separating website content management from legal ad hosting and structure fees so that as not to exceed statutory thresholds. The intentional calculation was designed to bypass open public bidding, pay-to-play review, and governing body authorization under local public contract law 40A:11-1. The record shows a prearranged administrative pipeline between the QPA, the CFO, and the vendor to process public funds outside standard resolution procedures. Under NJSA C5-30.
Thank you, Mr. Sheldon.
Can I just give me 30 more seconds? You gave Mr. Frantantoni an extra minute, and I'm almost done.
35 more seconds. Yeah.
Well, just
That's
give
what
me
I'm
just
saying. We're
one more
starting
minute.
a precedent.
Administrative or otherwise can be lawfully executed without the CFO issuing a formal certification of available funds tied to a council-approved budget line item prior to commitment. I ask, where is the council-approved budget line item considering the 2026 budget was just introduced and has not yet been approved? Moreover, we've been consistently told these previous 8 years that Belleville was not being charged for any website services. Executing agreements or dispersing funds without prior valid budget line item certification violates state regulatory mandates. So I'm asking you tonight, I'm respectfully asking that the governing body take 2 immediate actions: direct the township attorney and administration to conduct a formal legal review into the validity, ethics compliant, administrative execution.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Sheldon.
mandatory CFO certification of available funds
You received
for
your
these
extra minute.
websites, and to put the CFO and QPA on administrative suspension pending the outcome of that investigation.
Thank you, sir.
Laugh all you want, Mr. Di Maria. Your days are numbered.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to approach the podium? Okay, yes, Mr. Del Gershio.
Tilio Jerry Del Gershio, 8 Grove Street. I want to bring up one thing about the parking. I've been on the zoning board for 35 years. When a multifamily unit comes before the zoning board, we require them, at the minimum, to have at least 1 parking space per unit. And it has to be designated, so nobody could take somebody else's. And the reason we do that is because when you don't do that, and they're not allowed to charge extra for it, has to be in the rent. Because if you don't do that, people don't want to pay an extra $150 for a parking space, and that's when they go on the street and take everybody from 1-family areas and maybe 2 or 3 family, and they take their parking spaces. Perfect example is on Belmont Avenue. You have those apartment buildings there. Belmont Avenue was never loaded with cars at night, and now it's always loaded with cars at night. Okay? On their side. Okay? And that's the problem. We require it. You have a requirement in the zoning ordinances that certain businesses have to have so many parking spaces, or multifamily units have to have so many parking spaces. That doesn't mean you charge for those parking spaces. That means it's part of the rent. That's required for you to be allowed to build these many units. And that's the way that should be handled. Now, for this other item that has been brought up by Mr. Shelton and Mr. Droz, okay? The key question here is whether Mr. Banda was told by the ex-mayor in December that he was no longer going to have everything for free as of July 1st. That's the key question to this whole thing. Because if he did, I'm sure Mr. Banda would have told Mr. Belli, which I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Mr. Belli, to find somebody to take his place. Because in the event that Mr. Velez didn't win the election and Mr. Melhammond won the election, he couldn't do this as of July 1st. And it's interesting that all the stuff happens after the May election, May 29th. And who asked Mr. Bella to make this correspondence with Mr. Melham's corporation? Who asked him to do this? Because he did it on his own, or was it directed to him to do it? And that's a key question here. That is a very key question here. And the last part, and it really smells to high heaven, is this proposal. The understanding that's been read before. It is my understanding that this agreement will be executed administratively by the chief financial officer or the qualified purchasing agent and will not be subjected to the council for consent, approval, or other action. Well, that's a lie. I'm going to tell you why it's a lie. Because if you want to pay these bills, it's going to be on your monthly bill, and you have a right to pull it off the bill. So you still have to consider the payment. Okay, this proposal is being offered based upon the understanding, should this matter be placed on a township council agenda for consideration, discussion, approval, ratification, or any similar action, please consider this proposal and any resulting agreement immediately withdrawn and null and void. So what are you hiding here? It makes it look like there is an underhanded thing going on. But the key question is, did he tell Mr. Banda in December that he was no longer going to do this?
If I may.
Yes, you may.
So, making comments in December is.
One second. I just want to, sir, do you have any further comments?
Well, only if I have a answer to him. That's
Why
about
I'm
it.
asking, because your time will be up. So I want to make sure you've finished your
Well,
comments.
don't worry.
and
I'm
Mr.
sure the
Van-
mayor will let me answer the question. Okay?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Banda.
Just so that everyone knows, I did not receive formal notice that he was no longer going to be doing the website and formally stopping as of a certain date until 5/13/2026 at 10:40 a.m. And that's the email that I got. And after that, that is when I instructed them to
What was
start
that date again?
5/13/2026 at 10:40 a.m.
That was the day after the election.
That was the day I got an email.
After the election. Well, it makes sense then. But also, technically, when he did this Oprah, why wasn't a letter given to him, Mr. Shelton? It says, I reiterated this position in writing again in May of 2026. But that letter or email did not go to Mr. Shelton. So I think there's a little hanky-panky going on here. Thank you.
Huh? What letter? The email, I don't know. Yeah, my email wasn't a part of it, but that was the date of my email.
No, that's fine. IT que puso eso.
Okay. Is there anyone who would like to address the council? Okay, so we're gonna now, we have many questions up here. So we're gonna go through them. Yes, and then we're gonna address the questions to the manager about that were raised during the public comment. Okay, so we're gonna, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Councilmember Cosarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Guardabasco? Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes. Okay, Mr. Manager, do we have an update on the food truck park and its opening date?
We have no update on the food truck park. We had an issue with the contractor, so it got pushed back. We also had to find new quotes from different contractors, and I'll let Mr. DiMaria talk about the quotes, where we landed, and what the expectation with the new contractor is. The price did not stay the same. So,
Okay, so Murray Contracting was the original contract that the award was made to. There were some problems with him legally. He stretched the job out, didn't show up. And ultimately, we were notified by the parent company of that Korean that he would not be able to, that they would finish out the contract, but they understood if we wanted to go with someone else, we did. So we went back to our co-ops, back to our usual procedure of finding a reliable and reasonable and responsible contractor. And we happened to come across one or two that we've dealt with before that we're going to use Bergen Fence, which is to do the capping, finish the wall and the fence and the steps in the back. It's all part and parcel to his co-op agreement. So that's not something that would have to go out and bid. We're still negotiating prices to get our arms around the work. It seems as though the original quote from Murray was significantly low. We haven't paid him anything. We haven't paid him anything yet. So the wall is there, the steps are there, it's all backfilled. We haven't paid anything. We're going to refer it to the attorney's office. We've gotten some correspondence from a company that claims to be the surviving entity of that. We're just going to forward it to Mark's office and let him deal with it.
What do we think we're gonna have to pay them?
Tom Harris's rough calculations for the work that was done came to about, it was under $50,000.
What are they asking for?
They're asking for 92,000.
Okay, so
So
when you
we're
say,
way far apart.
So what was the total contract originally?
It was 215 and change, 215 and change, I think a little north of 215.
What were the new quotes we found?
The new quotes from one person to do the entire thing was close to $500,000 to finish all the groundwork, the fencing, the foundation, the gates, which seems to be the most important, the biggest component, because we want a nice facade to cover the food truck, 2 towers in the front to make it aesthetically pleasing.
What were the 2 quotes?
One quote we got was for a contractor we used was 800 and something thousand to finish. The second one was around $500,000.
So we're not.
so, I mean, what is it? Okay, because, we were told one thing and then now something mysteriously happened to this individual.
The company.
Yeah. Okay. And, Mark, if I may, what are the ramifications? Because obviously we were told one thing, we agreed to one thing, and a completely different thing happened.
So, well, we're going to,
Yeah, I think that this is probably a discussion that it's probably better in closed session, depending upon what we decide to do.
Pending
If there's any
litigation.
potential litigation or whatnot, I think that these are discussions that are ripe for closed session.
But the short of it is,
Okay.
we're not going forward, period, correct?
Generally speaking, I don't think we should go forward with anything until we get to the
Right.
bottom of what happened.
Agreed.
Because we can't just keep spending and spending and spending if we don't actually know what happened.
Correct.
So I think we should put a hold on this.
Yeah.
We need to have answers. We need to provide answers to the public, and the council should be informed of what exactly happened because, again, this seems to be an evolving situation, and this is a large sum of money. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. So we're going to go on to the question on the posting of the agenda at 7 p.m. So we're going to be speaking with the council. We're going to be making sure that when we make council, when we set council dates, when we're looking at that 7 p.m. Time slot, that everything works for everybody. We have 7 different schedules. We make sure that we fit into that. Yes, Mr. Sheldon, I do agree. A 7 p.m. slot, just like the Board of Education does, is really the right thing to do. I can tell you, I know a number of residents who've actually said to me there are a number of commuters coming back from the city. NJ Transit, we all know, sometimes there can be hiccups, path. When they're coming out 5 o'clock, 4:30, they're not home until 5:45, 6. They got to change, they get ready, kids, responsibilities. So I agree with you on that. So we're going to be working with the council to make sure going forward we get that schedule set. And then the question on the agenda, I know the manager and Councilman Graziano and myself have spoken numerous times up on this dais And, over the last 8 years, Councilman Graziano was a big advocate of switching to board docs like the Board of Education. Do we have any update on that? Because it's been some time, I still haven't heard. And I know that when we're talking about the agenda, I think it's nice to put something up as a PDF, but I think the public, what they want is they want to be able to access the supporting material before they go to the meeting, not after they go to the meeting. Because a lot of the time you hear many of the people who come up here, they're not even asking about the substance of the question because they don't even know what they're asking about. They don't even know what the substance of what's being approved on is. So I think that going forward, can we actually revisit that? Because I heard about a quote. I heard that legwork was done. People got a quote. And this was going on for the time that Councilman Graziano had first gotten here in 2018. So if we guys show to the public, just kind of refresh the timeline, how everything has happened, get from the manager, what are the actual items going forward? Because again, there's a lot of talk up here. There's been a lot of talk up here for some time, but we still haven't seen something done.
So Mayor, if I may?
Yeah.
So what happened with that was we did look into it. We went with board docs. We worked with the Board of Education at the time. We got the quote. We paid for it. Had it for 3 years. At that time, it was never implemented. If they're going to look at it now, which I agree with you, somebody, if this is going to come in at, if it's going to come down to who's going to be using board docs, then we need their input on what product they want to use. It's a project. You have to purchase it, you have to implement it, you have to tweak it, and you have to put timelines around it, starting date and end date. And that's the way it gets done. And that's how all projects should get done, and I've been complaining about that for a while. Start and end date. If you're going to purchase it, get it done. No excuses, no stipends. It's part of the job. Get it done and move forward. And that's where I think it needs to go back and find out if board docs is the application that the clerk and team wants to use. That's fine. If something they use or knows what's better, then that's fine too. But again, with all of these extra budget items coming up, I think we have to look at that too. So I agree with you across the board, but.
Do we still have it? If
No,
you said
we don't.
had
We
it, was the
do not have
contract-
board docs no
Was
more,
it a
yes.
yearly contract?
I think we had it for 3 years when we worked with this board. Again, it goes back from 18, so don't quote me on it, but it's gone. But yeah, so if you want to, if you'd like to do it, we got to start all over.
Okay. Okay.
It disappeared, and since then, it happened right before COVID hit, and then it all disappeared.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Challen. So, Manager Banda, from your end now, we've had conversations up here. You've been in the audience years prior when, again, board docs was talked about. Apparently, a quote was gotten. There was a conversation with the Board of Education. Apparently, it was purchased, never implemented. Again, very interesting. And now we're here in 2026 talking about this. So what are our actionable next steps? How can we finally get this done? Because, again, I don't understand how something was purchased and then we never used it and then just faded into darkness. Again, I don't know how that happened.
No, it was never there during my time. I think it was early on, Tom.
I'm sorry.
When did you guys do that?
Oh, it was 2018.
Oh, yeah.
19,
So
yeah.
we can start the search. We can happily do that. I actually just deleted it off my blackboard because I didn't think anybody wanted to move forward with it. But I will redraw it on and start it back up.
Great. Okay, hopefully we can actually speak with the Board of Education again and hopefully, look into getting another quote from them. It seems that was the process before. Maybe that's a possibility for a shared service, possibly, maybe, because they also utilize board docs. Maybe we can negotiate with the Board of Education on that going forward. Okay, looked at that. And then, website, okay. And can we update the public on how we're moving forward, generally with the website? could we just give like a very general?
Very quickly, Mayor, the RFP returned 6 packages from 6 different vendors. We narrowed that list down to 3 to proceed with. Primary team that was on that was Frank Belli, Jackie, and Corinne, the primary users of it. We're leaning toward, and actually, after the evaluation, all the meeting notes are here. I'm just looking back on it. For a number of reasons, I know we're pressed for time, we're leaning toward, we make the award to Civic Plus. That seems to be the most receptive of the systems that we have already that will tie in very easily. They have their own publication of documents feature, so we'll be able to terminate that contract as well. All the modules, and it also works with, they have live streaming if we wanted to do with that, and they also have, there was another item that was everything we have can integrate Community Pass admins, Next Request. They're it's the same company, and we already use Next Request for Oprah's. So the evaluation committee is lent towards Civic Plus, and that's who we're going to go with. All 6 put a 6-month lead time, January 1st. As for a launch date, the shortest was, none of them could deliver it in any shorter time, I see here. That seems to be the illegal, they have the same system to utilize legal ads. I'm just checking the notes. That's pretty much it. We're going to go with the Civic Plus with all the features, and that should be easily integratable for what we have already. There's also an expansion that the manager wants for the what do they call it? The imaging, the map, GIS features that he wants on a website that's available to the public. That's going to be a separate implementation, but he wants that. He wants that available to the public. He wants that available to the inspectors. So that's going to be we'll have to get either, we already use a third-party vendor for that. We may keep the same one or go out and get a different one, but either way, we're going to be spending the same amount of money.
Okay.
So that's looking at it. They will get started shortly, but it's looking at a January 1st launch date.
Okay. I was told they're already working on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments or concerns from the council, from the public comment section? Okay. All right, we're going to move on to resolutions, the consent agenda. So I'm going to give everybody a moment to just look over again all the items of the consent agenda. And if you would like to pull something individually, please let me know. But I'm going to give you all just a moment to look once again at the consent agenda.
It's really nice. I saw it. I don't do it. If he wants to do it, I don't do it.
Okay, are there any items that any member of the council would like to pull separately before we head into a vote?
I just have a question on 253-2026. It was added.
In the new business section.
Number 13.
Okay, so that's in the new
Just a
business
question. We
section.
could do it
Yeah.
all together. It's just a question if I can ask before.
Yes.
So to Ms. Guaman, I do know, I see that out there as a resolution because it's a discharge. But going forward, what is the process, not going forward, what is the process when people, when citizens go into this program? Why aren't they on, or why doesn't the council see that they're spending the money? Like, this is on the backside that it's being discharged, and this is part of, so everybody don't know, this is part of the CME. It's
It's part of the home improvement program.
It's a program, right, home improvement. So there's a lot of people that actually go out and get it, right? We don't know about that. We only know about when they get paid off. So why would that be? Why is the process different for closing but not opening? And if that's my one question.
I was told by our attorney, DePisa, that this had to be put on a resolution in order for us to do the discharge of the property for the home improvement program, because there is a current lien on that property. So since there's at the time of the 10-year period, or whenever there's a change, whether it's a sale or transfer of ownership, that we have to send the county a letter stating that this change has been done. Am I correct?
Jackie's correct, Madam Clerk is correct. You have to take formal action, because formal action would be actually removing the lien. The county's going to want to see that formal action was taken, so a simple letter won't suffice. So that's why it's on the agenda as a resolution.
And then my second question is then how come when people apply for this, when a lien gets put on, how come we don't know about that?
The
What do you mean you don't know about?
The council, we don't know who's getting this or who's participating or anything like
I
that.
think that all depends upon the terms and the programs that was set up. It's possibly that when the program was set up, the council gave their authorization for this program and for people to enter into the program, so you didn't have to approve every individual application. I shouldn't speak because I haven't seen those program guidelines, but normally that's the way it works.
That is correct. It does get reviewed and approved or disapproved by CME. CME provides us the paperwork, which I do, and once they sign all the contracts, everything gets signed by the homeowner, the
Right.
contracts, CME, the inspectors, and once everything is done, then we put the lien on the property based on the amount that was given.
Gotcha.
I think the lien is put on as a protection for the program with the assumption that the person is going to abide by the guidelines. If the person doesn't, then
Right.
that's where the formal action would
Yeah, I
come
was
into
only
play.
looking for the process, but it's the same thing in the front. So if we know it on the backside, is there a way that we can put a resolution or something that we can know on the front side?
Yeah, or I think that a report maybe of all the people entering in the program is something that could probably be done, but I could work with the clerk on that.
Or get a report, if the council is interested, to find out from day one, from conception, who's using this program and what's left in the program for the rest of the town to use.
Well, that's something that Mr. De Maria can give you the numbers.
And who? Okay, good.
Yeah, because the program actually, we have it in one trust fund, correct? And then there's multiple things that get paid out of that trust fund.
The primary is the 33rd,
So you could produce a report of since conception.
Inception might be a little difficult, but I could try.
Okay, thank you.
Inception.
Inception, I'm sorry.
If any of the information is going to be made public, I just want to take a look at it to make sure we don't have any issues with regard to disclosures.
Thank you.
Okay, just
I'm good.
great. Just to reiterate, that was the conversation we just had was about new business.
253,
2026, correct. So, just one more time. Are there any items that anyone would like to pull separately on the consent agenda? Okay. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda in full?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Casarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Cuertabasco?
Yes.
Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes.
That agenda is approved.
Okay, we're on to new business. So, we're going to read, let's make sure, there are two items here. Resolution number 253-2026, resolution authorizing the discharge of a mortgage related to the Belleville Home Improvement Program. Can I have a motion on this?
Motion. Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Huh? Can I pull it?
Okay, we're on,
I'm sorry.
no problem.
Councilmember Casarelli?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
You may want to abstain that one.
I mistake. Yeah, thank you, right.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I have to.
I'm sorry. Let's just
Thank you.
start all over again. Councilmember Casarelli?
Yes.
Graziano?
Same.
Cuertabasco?
Yes.
Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes.
Okay, resolution approved, 243.
Okay. Resolution number 254, 2026, resolution approving annual renewal and issuance of plenary retail consumption license, quote, 33, end quote, for the period beginning July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027, to GMC Holdings LLC. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second it.
Okay, is there any discussion on the floor? Okay, hearing none. Madam Clerk, if you may call the roll.
Councilmember Casarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Portabasco? Muldrow?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes.
Resolution 254 is adopted.
Okay, we are now done with the new business portion of our agenda. Just for those of you in the audience, going forward, we will make sure that, as with other agendas, we're going to have the public comment before the consent agenda. So outside of that, when it comes to the executive session, I'm going to reiterate to everyone in the audience that when we go into the executive session, we're not going to make any or take any formal action, but everyone will have to leave the room. I don't know how long this is going to take, so just to reiterate again, after the executive session, the only thing that will happen is we're going to end the meeting. So I am now going to ask for a motion to enter executive session.
Motion.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. We are now in executive session.
So, potential litigation, personnel, attorney-client privilege.
Seated. Okay. Are we live? Yes, sir. Live in stereo? Okay, great. Okay, can I get a motion to exit the executive session?
Motion.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Yes.
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 Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Velez?
Yes. Okay, thank you. It's been a really great meeting. We're ending now at 10:51. It was a great one. So, okay, I am now going to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. We are adjourned.